Ruthenium.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 10th of August, 2014. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
Woo.
And Robert Kemp.
That went a bit wrong, didn't it? That was like, I think I was trying to say "roo," and so
a lot of things go wrong when they come out of your mouth. To be honest,
the Wookiee element.
Is that only the most recent example of something going wrong coming out of your mouth?
Yeah, but
of course it is. Yeah. Plenty of things.
Just watch any of our Final Fantasy videos, and you'll see at least a couple of examples per video.
Well, plenty of things would have gone wrong in my lifetime, so of course that was the most recent thing to have gone wrong.
Yeah, but they didn't all come out of your mouth. Hopefully.
What,
all the things that have gone wrong in your lifetime have all come out of your mouth. Is that true? That would be... That would make it quite easy to fix. So that nothing ever went wrong again.
I wonder statistically if that was the most likely place for something to go wrong.
Probably.
Your mouth.
By our vague definition of saying words wrong being going
mouth.
Wrong, whatever that means.
Being mouth wrongness.
So the things not going wrong in your life that are out of your control, and only things that come out of your mouth, which is
I'm sure everyone
in your
has
control.
Surely everyone has something in their life that is going wrong in some capacity.
Not
out of their mouth.
Well, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Like, it's hard to say whether like something is going wrong is an ongoing thing from your mouth. It sort of just goes wrong. Like you may say the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's a momentary thing. It's not an ongoing going wrong thing.
Unless you're considering some kind of
an ongoing wrong going thing.
Yeah, so
sorry, denim problem.
Previously,
denim problem. Yeah, I've got a denim problem in my mouth.
I've got an ongoing denim problem in my mouth. It's my jeans. They're all messed up.
I can't stop eating jeans. Something about the blue. It's so appetizing.
It's a genetic problem.
Yeah, I'm screwed.
Yep, it's genetic.
No, I actually said dental problem.
Which is also genetic.
Possibly.
Funny gums. Yeah.
Funny gums. Yeah.
So anyway.
That conversation actually came up the other day about how whenever a photo of me is taken, like, and I'm sort of pulling a normal face, that my normal smile location seems to be a centimetre too high for my mouth.
Funny
so
gums.
Yeah, so all it ends up is gum.
I hadn't noticed that you were one of those people, Rob. Definitely not. I find that I notice that quite a bit. Some people smile and you mostly see gum. Top gum. No one's smile location is bottom gum. It's all top. It's always top gum.
Not sure you can smile because that, like, the bottom half of your, it's like the smile goes upwards, so it naturally obscures the bottom half of your mouth more.
Yeah, that's right. Do you think people that have that just smile more than other people, so that it goes higher, and then you see all gum and you don't see the bottom teeth at all?
That they have a more extreme amplitude of smile.
A smile, yeah, exactly.
Plausible. I guess that means I'm a very happy person.
No, I think you just have a weird face.
Also true.
You're definitely not alone in that one, if that is true of you, Rob. Although I haven't noticed it of you, but I've definitely noticed. I don't think it's very, very, very noticeable.
I know what you mean. I don't think it's as bad as probably who you're making out, but I'm a little bit gummy in my location.
Smile
Apparently.
Location. Let's adjust my smile location.
That's what surgery's for. Move your face down. normally people move it up, so maybe I need a face sag.
Or rather than a face lift.
Or maybe I just need to get fatter, and that'll naturally make bits of my face sag more. I don't know.
Okay.
What, because it weighs more?
Yes. Slight amounts of face fat will drag it down.
We'll drag it down. Yeah, definitely. I think you should probably... I mean, that gums thing is terrible. You really need to gain a great deal of weight in order to avoid it. It's the only way, Rob.
Pizza all around.
You've got to eat more pizza.
Now I finally have a reason.
Okay, clearly, the best reason.
I've had this that song in my head since I did karaoke, and David chose "Peaches," by the presidents of the United States of America. I've had that in my head ever since. Peaches for me, and but I've had a modification in my head thinking of going to visit you guys, which is going to the country. I'm going to eat a lot of pizza.
Well, that's accurate. I need to somehow get going to the Switch in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Not going.
It doesn't really.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fits or rhymes with. I don't know. It must be useful.
Going
in some
into
rhymes.
Ipswich, gonna eat a lot of pizza. Because country
We
doesn't rhyme with peaches, so
No,
don't go
it
into
doesn't have
Ipswich to
to.
eat pizza very often, though.
no.
We exist in Ipswich to eat pizza. I guess I go into Ipswich to eat pizza technically when I come to your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Although
Regularly.
This is like the edge of Ipswich, so it's going barely into Ipswich to eat a lot of pizza.
What's your
Driving
technical?
on the A12, gonna drive right past the coach. Not enough syllables. Yeah, one shot.
Millions of pizzas. Pizzas for me.
Pizzas for me.
Anyway, so what's
Sure,
your
it's
part
possible
of
for
it
anyone
called
to-
again? Technically,
Sort
like-
of, I don't think it has a name, this particular bit,
No.
but it's like the Spraughton end,
Spraughton
Part of
end,
the road.
right?
part of the rump,
On the road.
the Ipswich rump. Well, 'cause if you look at it from a map, like the way the A14 curls around Ipswich, it's like the jut out of someone's rear.
Yeah, but then what's all the shit like Marksham and stuff, all that stuff that projects miles out the front?
Tubers.
The giant penis of Ipswich.
Well, technically, like when you get to that point, it's no longer Ipswich, is it? Because it's like Kesgrave and then Martlesham and then all that stuff kind of set. It's not Ipswich anymore, technically.
Sort of.
Yeah. Although there is no real stop in town from Ipswich to Kesgrave. It's just
and
like
Woodbridge, practically. It's almost a
no,
solid town.
Woodbridge has a. There's
Here we go. Local geography.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to
Learn about Suffolk through
Indeed.
people who know
Come to
shit
Suffolk.
about Suffolk. Okay, well, does anyone actually know any shit about Suffolk? As in, local knowledge that no one else would know? Like your vantage
You guys
point
must
that
know
it's
some
boring,
stuff.
or whatever.
Lived
The
there your
navigation
entire
post that you talked about, like, about 50-odd episodes ago.
Sometime in the past. Well, I can tell you the ongoing drama of the Gypsy Road level crossing saga.
What?
Oh yeah, what's going on with the level crossing at the bottom of that tiny little road?
Well, it's been like fenced off for ages,
It is-
so you can't drive across it. You can still walk across it
Oh,
because,
okay.
Network Rail are basically having a fit about level crossing safety, and they just want to close every level crossing in the country, ideally.
Right.
yeah.
But that one in particular, also, because I guess someone did get hit on it one time.
Oh, did they?
And
Yeah, but
naturally
they
that
did it
makes
on purpose. Obviously, they just parked
Yeah.
on the railway line.
Right.
And of course,
It
it
wasn't
was in the middle of the
beach
night.
training,
And of
was
course, well, me and Zach were in our
in the vicinity.
house. No, it wasn't. Yeah, and we heard a big bang in the middle of the night, and it went miles, I think, didn't it, down the track?
I don't know if I even remember hearing it, to be honest.
I remember hearing it.
You felt it
Anyway,
somehow. Somehow within your
no.
soul, you knew bad things had happened out your window.
No, it wasn't grounded. It wasn't a truck. It was a car. Somebody drove onto it and turned and switched off and said, "Bye, guys."
But no one, there's basically no reason for that level crossing to exist anyway. Because it's not like it's on a fucking road, it's on a farm
Yeah.
track, basically.
Yeah,
So
this is
anyway-
stupid. I mean,
It's there, they shut it off from traffic, and now they're like, okay, now we want to close it from foot traffic as well, because they already closed the other footpath crossing that's further up. The one
all
that
right,
they
yeah,
called...
the tiny one.
The one which never actually had a name, but they decided to call it footpath number 7 or something.
Oh, that sounds so
That
ominous.
Which is like, mysterious.
That one seems super dangerous, though. That one.
Yeah, that one was literally just a path that goes over the railway, which is like
and the railway was on kind of a curve as well, so you couldn't like see miles.
Yeah,
so
it's still on quite a bit of a curve by the time you get to Gypsy Lane as well, because it's not that far away. But anyway, they want to close that level crossing, and now they're having a big argument about what they want to do with it, because they're like, they want to build a pedestrian footbridge to go over there. But then everyone in the vicinity is like, fuck that noise, don't want a giant ugly pedestrian footbridge.
But what if they made a giant nice looking footbridge?
Well, the thing is about that crossing is it's like, it looks like it should naturally be a tunnel, because the road slopes down and then goes up onto the railway on both sides.
It does, and it's not like there aren't other tunnels.
Yeah, but apparently they surveyed it and they were like, no, we can't have a tunnel here. It has to be a bridge, which is going to be like, you go down a hill, you go up, and then you go more up.
But they just build one like really big flat platform from the road level that then just goes straight.
Not quite sure that's right. But anyway, it's probably going to look weird. But that level crossing.
Well, as long as we can still get across the railway line, because if we can't get across there, we can't go on proper walks around there and stuff. Yeah, we can't remove it completely.
The dog walkers will be angry.
Yep, clearly.
The dog walkers won't find any more bodies, so many murders will go unsolved for longer.
Well, those woods down there are private property now, so you can't walk through those any longer. So that'd be the perfect place to hide bodies.
Indeed. Local knowledge.
Yep.
Top tips.
The perfect place to hide your murdered corpse.
I mean, a dog walker's going to like the bridge, pedestrian bridge.
Depends what sort of
annoying
arrangement it has, I guess. I think it clearly should be a tunnel. That's just really dumb.
Indeed.
Oh, and also, due to this whole level crossing fiasco, there's a speed limit on the rail line, so the trains go really slowly past my house, which is super annoying.
Chanda,
because you just hear them for a lot longer.
What, all the time?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's like, they already closed the crossing. It's like, they can't close it any more than the walking part.
That's got to make people really late, hasn't it? That train's got to take quite a lot longer to get to London from Norwich if they have to go down to like 50 or something.
It's like I hadn't heard of the speed limit before, like the last month or so, when there was a letter about it and stuff. I think it's just clearly a tactic to make them to like deliberately annoy people to make them resolve the footbridge issue faster.
Oh, right.
Because it's like, oh, these trains are so loud because they move extra slow past all the buildings in Needham. So let's resolve this whole Gypsy Lane issue and get these fuckers out of here.
Well, good work.
Yep.
I think that's got to annoy the train companies and the operators and the passengers much more than it has the residents of Needham Market, right? There's a lot more people on the train than there are in Needham Market, right?
I was about to say, surely there's like a... I don't know how mean this will come out, but surely there's like a for the greater good aspect here, and that like you're helping more people by building this thing than you are pissing off by.
Well, for the greater good, just don't fucking bother. It's only like one person died on that level crossing once.
And that person was trying to die.
It's not like it's a major like traffic centre or anything. It's not like there's cars going across it all the time. It's not like, I don't know, Stowmarket or whatever.
That one.
Crossing.
Jeez. Well, that one has proper lights, though. That's fine.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it has to. Because it's an actual level crossing on a road with traffic.
Although that level crossing always sucked, though, because, to try and paint a word picture for the listeners who have fallen asleep.
Yeah, through this whole conversation. Dumb conversation.
Perhaps we're convincing that they need to go out and buy some kind of yellow plastic rain protection.
Yep.
That one was like right next to a train station.
Yeah.
So stupidly, if a train was in the train station and parked, it would be like, fuck it, no one's going past here.
Yeah, it's because it must just be automatic, presumably.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so whenever there's a train loading or unloading, you just sit there for half an hour.
Yeah, you could sat there for bloody ages. Although,
yeah, I think that's how it is, isn't it?
It's so silly.
It's the same at Elmswell as well. They have that where if the train's... Even if it's gone past, right? Or it's not like it's about to pass it once it's loaded, which might be fair enough.
Oh, of course, yeah, because then it's still travelling slow, so before it gets out of its, like, I don't know.
Rain,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Takes much longer. And of course, by that time, another train's coming.
Yep, naturally. Non-stop trains.
Non-stop train action here on the Saladcast.
So now that we're done talking about that dumb shit, let's talk about the ongoing saga of the noodle fork. Has it turned up?
Totally fucking has.
Sweet.
I have it right
my
here.
God.
Noodle fork update. Now, I haven't actually opened this
Oh,
yet.
live unboxing.
Yeah.
On not
excellent.
video. It's going to be real good.
I wonder I hope the batteries are charged. Because
I doubt it.
then you can get like a live whir.
Oh, it's a box inside another box.
That's excessive. I mean, how valuable is this noodle fork? Well, it's actually a metal fork.
Okay.
So, and it's like, ugh.
What was that that just fell off?
I don't know, some kind of instruction manual.
Oh, great.
Okay, here we go. Whoa, look at this. It's not just a
Well,
fork. It's got like,
Well, it's got 4 prongs for a start.
it's a fork. Okay, so yeah, which makes it a proper fork.
Yeah.
But it's like,
It's wibbly.
yeah, it's wibbly.
Is that meant to grip the noodles better?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they actually think this through in some kind of way?
Okay, the way it described this is it's got like horizontal waviness to the.
To the
What?
prongs.
Yeah, was there a better word for prongs that Dan
There was
came
a
up
real word,
Yeah,
but I've already forgot what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was tines, wasn't it?
Yeah, tines.
tines. Okay. Oh, it might be charged. There's like a
There's a tab.
there's a tab. Yeah,
Pull that shit out.
and it's got a big button saying "spin me."
Yep.
All right,
That is incredibly slow.
that is incredibly slow.
You'd get bored of waiting for that to do anything.
Yeah, here, bask in the majesty of this.
Wow.
What happens when you push the button? Does it actually turn off? So it does.
It's like a clicker.
Oh. You can't speed it up or something by holding it down. Nope.
You know what this reminds me of? It's
What?
it's like some kind of trophy to forks.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You just put it down on some kind of mantelpiece and press the spin button and have a choir sing.
Yep. Display the fork.
But that's not going to work for
for
actually spinning and acquiring noodles.
This is going to be complete. I suppose the risk is that if it was like of any decent speed, right, the noodle fork would spin, and pot noodles are actually kind of
Wet.
yeah,
As we discussed previously.
they're a bit soupy. So if it spins too fast, and you're like, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, but if you read this instruction manual, okay, so warning, this is not a toy. I mean, fair enough. It's a fork.
It's a utensil.
I just lost more pot noodle promotional material down the
Not
back of
suitable
the
for
desk.
children under 5 years old due to small parts. I wouldn't have called that fork very small.
Well, no, it's like one solid bit, isn't
Yeah.
it, really? Unless they're talking about the tab being the small part you could choke on and die.
And then comes the 2 bits which make significantly less sense. Caution, do not operate near the eyes.
Does that include the motion of when you need to pull the fork towards
Towards
your
your
face?
mouth, yeah. And then also, caution, food may fly off fork whilst in use. I highly doubt that, considering how fast it rotates.
So here's the promotional thing they mentioned as well. It's like, it says, right, well, I'll read this word for word because I haven't read this yet either. But congratulations, it's a fork, it spins, and it's yours. Just peel the tab off next to the battery, and then it's pot, kettle, spinning, fork, gob. And they actually have like a support line.
Yep.
Like, any problems with your fork, then visit this web address. It's like, it's a whole single URL. Like, it's like potnoodlespinningfork.com.
Man.
Oh, man.
We should totally get pot noodle sponsorship, man.
And don't forget, do not immerse in water.
But a pot noodle,
I assume they're meaning the other part.
Yeah,
the
the-
part that's not the fork.
the non-fork part.
You can pull it apart to take the fork off.
Okay.
It's labelled part 1 and part 2, in case you were wondering.
I wonder if you could change the gearing or something of the motor, because it must be geared to go slowly, right?
There.
Also, more important information here to do with the batteries. Caution, non-rechargeable batteries are not to be recharged.
Okay.
I think that makes some kind of
Well,
sense.
yeah, I guess you might not know that they were non-rechargeable in here, but
I wonder if you could increase the voltage to the to the thing by hooking up more batteries in series.
Just like get the part twos of several noodle forks and just wire them together and see what happens. Maybe it's like to be like maybe like for health and safety reasons they thought best not to make it spin fast lest you try and eat it with it still spinning, because at this speed, at slightly whirring speed, you can at least sort of go and keep it.
Well, I'd eat it while it's still spinning.
Yeah, like
that's why you just turn it on and off. That's why it's button operated.
I know, but you could.
You're not supposed to operate it near the eyes, though.
No.
If it was spinning too fast and it was creating just like a ball of blurred noodles, it's like you might need to know that it's actually spinning.
I mean, how fast do you think you can spin a fork with your hand, like a normal fork? Faster, I'd imagine.
I don't know. Give me that fork.
Quite fast, because you can use the flatness of it to like flick it, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably at least 4 or 5 times faster than this spin.
Yep. There you go.
I mean, my classic way of eating pasta was use a spoon and a fork together, right? I mean, are you allowed to do that? I don't know, but I always did. You grab up a bit of the stuff in the spoon and you spike it with the fork.
I broke it already.
What do you mean you broke it?
It won't go any longer.
What? What have you done?
I just put it back together and then it stopped.
What have you done?
Unless the battery just ran out, which is also possible.
What have you done? Have you
You need to call the helpline.
Shit,
Visit the website.
Japan doesn't feel like it's pressing anything anymore.
Yeah, it feels a bit weird. Well,
how did you even detect this?
You just put it off.
Yeah.
It's got like a hexagonal thing to hold it together.
Oh wait, this seems a bit loose.
Well, I think that's just because it's badly made.
It might need screwing in. Battery compartment might need an extra bonk.
If you mash it... Ooh, that sounds faster. Put the fork back on.
Or good. That is faster.
Maybe the batteries are just shit.
Oh,
Maybe if you
yeah.
put proper batteries in it, it will go faster.
I think that's a double speed spin there. We've just nitroed our noodle fork.
Excellent. Well,
we're introducing a new form of tuna culture.
Fork tuners.
Yeah.
Tuning forks.
I can't believe you had to say that second time. Oh, genius.
Missed fan opportunity.
It wasn't missed, I got it.
Eventually.
Yeah, got it. Got it straight away. It says like need for noodles or something.
Need for
Tuning
noodles.
forks.
It's definitely a need for noodles.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Zach was saying that the noodle fork saga is over. It's like, no, it's not over. Because
It nearly was.
I'm yet to eat anything with it. Yeah, it was nearly over. Although then we would have had to have sat through like an awkward conversation with noodle support line.
To find out what the hell was wrong with it.
Yeah. Or what they could do for me. Like, how would noodle support...
Noodle support.
Yeah. How would pot
So you're going to produce a video to accompany this series?
Yeah, perhaps that would have to be a one-off Twitch stream of like Robert eats a pot noodle with a spinning fork.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it runs on 2 AAA batteries, so not any of the types of batteries you have.
I did have a remote that used AAAs at one point, so I needed AAAs, but I don't think I do anymore.
It's not like that handle isn't gigantic enough to fit AA's.
No. Maybe they're worried about the weight balance. Someone actually thought about it.
I doubt it.
Yeah, if it's using AAAs, they could have done with a slightly smaller casing.
Well, that's the end of the spoon fork saga for this episode, at least.
Yep. Tune in again. Tune fork in again.
Yep. Okay.
And stay glued to the website for potential Twitch streams.
Which conveniently segues into the first bit of news.
Okay. I guess that does conveniently segue.
News!
News!
Hey guys. Twitch is going nuts.
Twitch is getting fucked
Yeah.
by themselves.
Although they are sort of... Right, okay. Story is, Twitch was probably under pressure from music types.
Maybe.
To sort out the fact that many streams have background music that's like, people's music collections and stuff, and they're just broadcasting music. And I guess
like a pirate radio station.
Yeah.
Except not really.
Well, no, most of them are like game streams.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought there's very many that are literally just broadcasting music and then like some kind of image. I mean, that does happen on YouTube where you just get a static image and there's a music track.
Sure.
But I don't think Twitch is necessarily what that's for.
No. I mean, like, presumably this affects things like Salty Bet, where it's like just got like a ton of music running in the background, but then... I don't know
how much of Salty Bet's music is anything that anyone would care about.
No, probably true. I mean, it does occasionally have like some indistinguishable rap.
Well, what it does have, which is the sort of problematic part of this whole story, is lots of game music. And apparently quite a lot of game music is getting detected by this system and then censored. Which is kind of defeats the whole point of Twitch because it's meant for streaming games.
It's like, presumably then their system needs to be quite clever in that, like, if the game that you say you're streaming, like, contains the music that the content ID is detected. That wouldn't be
clever. That would be easily exploitable.
So is this thing working or worked? I don't know what's happening like now, but like, did it work live? Like,
no, they haven't got live version of this to work. It's
so it'd only go and find you. So for most people, this probably didn't make a big deal.
Well, the secondary problem with this that's not related to muting audio is that they're getting rid of the archives, basically.
Are they?
Yes, you can no longer save stuff forever, which was really dumb when they even introduced the save forever button.
Oh shit, when's this happening? Because I need to...
immediately. You got like 3 weeks until everything gets deleted.
I think quite a lot of the streams I've done, which is very few, in fairness. Like, I've still got the MPEG file.
I've got all of mine. Somehow it only adds up to like 20 gigs.
Oh, but that means like I'll have to. Well, that means I'll have to go and edit all the posts on Happy Salad to like not use the Twitch stream, and
you probably shouldn't have anyway because they were terrible.
What do you mean? No, shut up.
I mean,
it's extra content. It's like content.
Well, I meant directly linking to Twitch is always terrible.
Oh, what, embedding the player?
Yeah, it doesn't like it very much most of the time.
That I wasn't aware of.
But I think there is a way on Twitch you can just upload directly to YouTube from Twitch.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So you might be able to do it relatively easily.
Yeah, just set it running and so it doesn't use any of my bandwidth.
So yeah,
just use Twitch's and YouTube's.
They're getting rid of archiving pretty much entirely. It's like normal users get like 2 weeks of archive and then paying people get like 60 days or something.
Oh, is this where they're trying to... Is this the reason why all this is happening? Because they are finally reaching the stage where they need to figure out how to make money?
Well, it's like there's...
Or are they making money anyway? And
there's like 2 or 3 different rumours that no one has any idea what the hell is actually going on. The main one being that they're sort of setting themselves up for getting bought by Google.
Well,
by basically enforcing the same level of enforcement that YouTube has, which also doesn't actually work that well. So it's very similar.
There's definitely some tech presumably between Twitch and YouTube live streaming, like Google Hangout stuff, that could probably merge.
Well, yeah, what people are basically saying is that YouTube will basically get rid of their whole streaming thing and use Twitch instead. Because
that seems unlikely.
Twitch actually works, whereas YouTube's one is shit.
That seems unlikely. I reckon they'll like consume it in some way, like
Well, that's what I meant.
I mean, like
technology.
They'll probably do some sort of technology merge if it's possible. Like,
yeah, but they don't.
Either they'll take the features that Google has and put it into Twitch, but more likely because YouTube is a bigger thing than Twitch, they will try and find a way of making Twitchy stuff work on YouTube tech. Or the YouTube platform.
Yeah, but there's no. All they're going to take is the streaming tech because that's the one bit of YouTube that doesn't work yet.
I know. I'm just sort of saying, from an internal perspective, they'll probably want to think about some way of unifying it.
Well, it will all be on one website, I'm sure.
No, but I mean technology-wise, not just where it is.
Well, there's no technology to unify. Like I said, it's basically 2 separate things because YouTube has never managed to do streaming. Really, they've tried, but it was bad.
Yeah, it's existed. I'm not even sure it's even been bad. I just don't think it's really taken off.
Well,
or it just doesn't seem as easy, perhaps, for people to do, rather than like, how you do with Twitch, where it's like, here's your key. Just, upload to Twitch with that key and it'll end up on your channel. Magic.
Yeah. But then the other main problem with the music censoring is because of the way it's basically lazy, but because of the way Twitch separates their video files basically into chunks. The algorithm, when it detects music that it needs to mute, it just mutes the entire chunk. But the entire chunk on Twitch is half an hour.
Mm.
So if you play 1 3-minute song, it basically erases the sound off the entire half-hour chunk that is in.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
But that's just lazy. That's just like they haven't bothered to make it any better.
Mm.
So is this happening all the time, all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Like everyone's audio is being erased
immediately.
Right.
Or quite hilariously, like a couple of official Twitch videos got muted themselves. As you do. Inevitably.
Yeah.
How much does it detect? Like, how long do you have to have like a whole half a track for it to detect, or is like 10 seconds is enough?
Licensing of music is so totally weird though for broadcast. Like, was it on Radio 1 the other day? They were talking how like certain songs they have that then I don't think they're technically licensed to play all of it, or certain clips, so they have to like every 30 seconds or something there has to be a DJ or something talking on it. Like it has to be obscured every so many at least once within so many windows or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's the world of sound licensing is fucking nuts anyway.
Well, there's been a thing on TV forever where BBC had like awesome power to so even if you're a small program, you could get like Dark Side of the Moon or something to or little clips of really famous bits of music that you could use in the documentaries or stuff. But whereas you couldn't do that.
If the BBC in its studios just has like one, I don't know, central library and everyone's allowed to use it, then I think
it definitely gives them an advantage. Like something like Top Gear has much less trouble, and that's why you get awesome music on Top Gear than like commercial stuff.
Sure, but the BBC is so big, and it's just one company doing all that stuff. Whereas a lot of the other networks will have people submitting programs that they want added or something, and they would have probably had to have gone through the rigmarole of sorting out their production themselves. And then pitch it to Sky, can you show this for us? Whereas the BBC makes everything themselves from the ground up. Mostly. So they have they just have more clout in that space.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, you won't be able to watch...
Sorry, it wasn't Radio 1, it was Radio 5 they were talking about that stuff.
Okay. Important correction, that.
Yeah. I think Radio 1 do whatever the fuck they want. and then some lawyer deals with it later.
That's the traditional tactic.
I watched a sort of non-tool assisted speedrun of Tony Hawk's 2 the other day. That was like, I can't remember how long it was, like 6 minutes or something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen one of those before. Yeah, you can just like if you know exactly what route you need to do to get enough objectives to just move on to the next level. Yeah, you can finish it super quick.
Yeah, he totally blasted it. He fell over at one point, so I think that screwed up its time slightly. But it was a pretty good run, to say the least. And the speed that they move through the menus as well is hilarious because they've memorized the exact key presses to get through to the next level as quickly as possible. So that just moves really, really fast. And of course, Tony Hawk's, every time you do anything in a menu, it makes like a scuffy sound, doesn't it? Like a sort of trick sound. Yeah. That was cool. But that would have had so many licensed musics in, like, you'd get the beginnings of like 15 different like classic songs or whatever. And does this stuff like detect, like, because it's all, I mean, you get that what's it called, Shazam thing. I mean, that works in a loud bar, in a bar and stuff. So I mean, they must have like a threshold, because when you've got like sound effects being played over it, I mean, how do you tell that it's the track?
Yeah.
Apparently quite easily.
Yeah. Whenever someone says Shazam, I I always think of the Bo Selector David Blaine thing. Shazam!
You don't think of Shaq O'Neal?
No, I don't. I don't think of Shaquille O'Neal. He has a Shazam.
Let's not talk about that. We could go on to a whole segue of retarded films, but let's just get back on topic. So what happened with Twitch is this whole content ID thing happened, and then everyone was like, "Fuck you, Twitch," and then tried to leave.
Yeah, and then
overloaded a bunch of other new streaming sites who don't have as much bandwidth as Twitch does.
I think someone at Twitch was quoted on saying, "Yeah, this is probably the biggest mistake we've ever made."
Well, it coincided with the end of Twitch Plays Pokemon as well.
Yeah, they've got through it all. But then there's more Twitch news. This isn't the only
Fish
thing.
Plays Pokemon.
It's sort of related.
Yeah, their sister site, I suppose, Justin.tv, which might have been where they started.
Yeah, I think it was.
Is now closed.
It was almost dead for ages anyway.
Yeah.
But that's another element of like people's suspicion about potential Google buying them or whatever.
Oh, it's the thing, like, so this essentially means that Twitch is doubling down on games, which means that you can't theoretically, or you're not supposed to live stream something that isn't about games. Is that their thinking?
Yeah, I mean, that was why they had that whole problem with the PlayStation Room thing.
The Playroom.
Playroom, that's it.
But then PlayStation added stuff to the Playroom to make it so those people like had more stuff to do in their streams or more tools they could do, like sort of for streaming.
Well, yeah, but that's,
But I guess
back down on that sort of.
Yeah, I guess PlayStation like Ustream, so
Yeah, kinda.
I suppose is that the only real competitor, I guess, that doesn't have these like game-related restrictions.
Well, it's the only major one. There's plenty of other smaller ones,
other than YouTube live streaming,
who are currently being fucked by their bandwidth immediately. Oh, and the other thing,
I'm just trying to think what you would do, like if you wanted to like do some live stream, I don't know, athletics event or something in your back garden, something really dumb, like a live milk challenge or something, or
yeah, I'm sure there's sites you can go to do that, like maybe live stream. I'm sure they don't give a crap.
That's true. I forgot that live stream exists.
Yes.
Because they use the
have
word
the
live.
name.
Yeah, because they
have the best
live.
name, but no one cares.
Yeah. It's like, for once, that's a double-edged sword rather than actually, or a bad sword, I guess. Like,
a double-edged sword is normally how that works.
Yeah, it's just a bad sword that doesn't have a handle. Like, you've got to hold the blade to use it.
Okay. Clearly better. But I forgot what the other thing was about it.
Is the handle on a sword called a handle? Sorry, before I forgot.
Yeah, it's a hilt. Yeah.
No, but yeah, what?
Oh, no, is the hilt
the whole thing the hilt?
Well, the whole thing is
The whole thing is the hilt, and then the cross thing is the guard. Is that what you're saying? Which is part of the hilt?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I'm sure there's probably a more technical name than guard for the guard part.
I think they have more bits to them.
Don't look it up.
No.
Do not look up swords.
I'm interested.
Why not? I want to know. Tell me.
How do I look this up? Like sword parts?
Yeah, just go on Wikipedia and look for swords.
Just look at the sword.
Sword hash.
Sword hash.
I can't type apparently.
No.
You talk amongst yourselves. I'll catch up.
Yes, let's talk about the actual story.
So go on.
The other thing that's weird about this Twitch thing is, even though they're getting rid of the archives for streams, you can still theoretically save highlights forever.
Okay.
And that doesn't make any sense to me, because it means in order to save the highlight, presumably it still has to save the video. So it's like, that's not actually, if everyone just starts making highlights of everything they do, then that would just be the same amount of data, surely.
Well, how long can a highlight be?
Well, apparently that is the thing that's slightly annoyed speedrunners, is that highlights can only be 2 hours long.
Only?
Yep, exactly. I was like, what? But of course, there are quite a few speedruns that are longer than that for Final Fantasy games, I guess.
True.
And I suppose, the speed demo archive or whatever do their 24-hour stream, and I'm sure that would be a giant pain in the ass to clip out every single game into its own individual highlight that's not longer than 2 hours, or multiple parts that are 2 hours long.
Sword update.
Sword update.
Right, so the hilt is the whole thing, you're correct. The pommel is the bit that is the bit at the top of the handle that stops your hand from slipping from the handle onto the blade.
Right.
The guard, there is something called the guard, but that's the, like on a rapier, that's the bit that goes over your knuckles, essentially. And then the grip, I guess, is where you actually hold it.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
It's called a grip, not a handle.
Hilt parts. Yeah, and they optionally they may. Well, I suppose the guard is also optional, but there's also could be the tassel or sword knot, which is the lump at the bottom of the handle if you don't want it to slip out the other way.
Very good.
So there you go, parts of a hilt.
And now we're done with sword and twitch knees.
Learned
That
it.
was pretty much that.
Yeah.
What else is new?
What else is new? Should we talk, like, whilst the company's doing weird stuff, should we talk Crytek?
Yeah, what's going on with...
doing anything at all? That's the question.
Well, they sort of, like, talked about themselves and all this weirdness at last. Other than saying it's a transitional period. They were like, oh, yeah, we're doing this.
I know our friend there definitely wasn't getting paid.
Oh, no.
But anyway.
Will
They've sold Crytek UK, right?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on
that.
right now, but I know he's coming down to
Crytek
London in a few weeks.
I think you're right. I think Crytek UK got sold. Like, Crytek USA seems to just be dissolving. Like, whether that means it's been sold or that that's getting liquidated or...
Yeah, they're obviously downsizing in order... Because they've got this plan, haven't they? The Crytek corporate or whatever decided, boxed games are the past and, like, games as a service is the future, so we're going to make a load of free-to-play crap. But we
also, they really think that Warface is a success and they're going to base their business strategy on Warface?
Well, not just that game, but they want to make other similar titles to Warface. Even if Warface doesn't work out, they want to make games in that vein.
Such a crowded market, though.
Well, I know. I think they're probably...
I suppose all game markets
idea.
are crowded now.
Not if all the companies keep shutting down.
They're not that... I don't know, because I think now that games are so much more expensive and longer to produce, the AAA games, there's going to be less games and more people wanting new stuff to play more often.
Yeah, but there's more indie... You could probably say there's more games than ever, thanks to like Steam publishing everything.
That's true. Thanks to indie. But not everyone wants to play indie games or indie games a chunk of the time.
I guess that's because indie's in danger of like just giving itself a really bad image, thanks to like Steam not having quality control. It's like,
well, there's enough good indie games.
Indie, well, yeah, there are, but indie will, at the moment, I think is going to... I think it's already at this point where it has a problem of how does the cream bubble to the top? Like, it must be... Discoverability must be so hard now, like the App Store and like the App Store, I guess, or Google Play, that kind of stuff. It's like, if you had a really great game, how do you get people to see it when there's so many of them? Like, someone needs to be going through them all and, like, doing proper featured stuff on the ones that are actually good. Or the game journalists need to be doing that. But I don't know. There needs to be... I don't know. It could just mean that we're not ever actually seeing some real great stuff some way. I don't know. I don't like it anyway. I just don't like this torrent of... Like, every day there's, like, 20-odd new games added to Steam or something. And they all look like garbage.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry,
I mean, that might...
but they do. The ones that turn up on like
Steam,
the featured list seem to be alright, but...
Yeah, you've got that. You've got other ways of highlighting good content, right? Featured lists and like... I mean, Steam gives you the Metacritic score right up front, doesn't it? For released games.
Does it still?
I don't know.
It did at one point. I can't say
Which is quite unusual to actually link to Metacritic, because Amazon don't do that or whatever. If you're looking at albums or whatever,
I guess
DVDs.
Steam's like approach has been mostly always like, you know, do your own research kind of stuff. We don't care. It's like, if you want to, I suppose in a way sounds a little noble because it means they're not being preferential. Except, you know, they obviously are, because people will pay. I guess some of the bigger publishers pay for those scrolling slots at the top of Steam, but.
Sure. But if you can afford to do that, you're not one of the people that's competing in the pile of new stuff to be heard, are you? It's mostly the big games that never go down from full price, that sit in that scrolly thing, like Call of Duty and shit.
FIFA,
and not FIFA, sorry.
And the odd occasion when it has like a, hey, Call of Duty's on sale, you can save £1 off this still £30 game. Or...
I've never seen Call of Duty on sale on Steam. Does that ever happen?
Yeah, it does, but it's always like by a tiny amount. Like the most I've ever seen it, some of them go down by is like 33%. Like
right,
which is nothing by Steam sale standards.
No, I suppose not.
But it has happened occasionally. Does Call of Duty sell that well on PC?
I can't imagine it does compared to console. Surely not.
Yeah,
but who knows? I mean,
perhaps they don't want to reduce it like out of principle that everyone moves to PC because it's cheap. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, do you think that would happen? I don't know.
Well, at this length of time after the game has been released, like you'd get it cheap on a console anyway, through second hand, and they're not going to see any of the money from that anyway. So I don't quite understand why they don't reduce it on PC. Activision, but then again, Activision also like made a shit ton of money, more than they were expecting to make this year.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they posted something saying we were so far over our projections.
Weird, because I don't think Call of Duty Ghosts sold as much as the previous type of series.
That even suggests that they probably just either they're including the Destiny pre-orders for some reason, or like their projections were pretty low. Like they knew Ghost was going to be a bad year or something.
Next one might be a good year. Who knows? Black Ops. Is it? What's it called? No.
Future it's Advanced Warfare
Kevin
or something.
Spacey thing. Yeah. Advanced bullshit something.
Exudes. Call of Titanfall.
Call of Titanfall. Exactly.
So Crytek.
Anyway.
Boo hiss.
Indeed.
More publisher news. Sierra's a thing.
How can Sierra be a thing?
They're Activision are bringing them back. I don't know what happened to Sierra of old. As in, did Activision just buy them out or something, or were Sierra always a part of Activision but were sort of acting independently? But yeah, apparently Activision are bringing the brand back, and there's rumors that some old adventure game guys. Yeah, some old adventure game guys are coming back to work on some projects for them.
Well, like Simon's Quest and stuff.
Yeah, probably. But presumably they won't be publishing another Half-Life game anytime soon.
No. That didn't
they did publish the first, didn't they?
They did, and then didn't EA publish Half-Life 3 or something? Is that right? No, 2,
Half-Life
sorry.
3?
Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2.
I think
EA were the publisher at one point.
I think they might have been for the console releases, but obviously not PC, because, Valve had Steam tied up at that point.
No, I don't think Steam was quite ready when Half-Life 2 shipped. I mean, it existed.
I have my boxes right here.
God damn it.
More research time. Chair noise. Half-Life 2 was still published by Sierra.
Fair enough. It must have been...
The orange box was Valve only, I think.
I'm sure they had a deal with EA at one point.
Well, they had the opposite deal with EA, because they had that dumb EA Partners thing, where EA was basically just publishing stuff for a while.
Right.
It's just the orange box is Valve on its own, at least on PC. I haven't got a console version of the orange box, because who the hell bought that? Team Fortress 2 was rubbish on Xbox.
That must be a weird game to play now. Team Fortress 2 on Xbox 360.
It probably doesn't work. I bet those servers have been long dead or something.
Do you think?
About that.
Well, TF2 kind of requires dedicated servers but then like the Xbox way of doing things would be matchmaking and peer-to-peer and shit, and I'm not sure it would work.
It's not like Valve aren't running a ton of TF2 servers for PC.
Yeah, but that's because the PC game is still hugely popular.
Yeah, but they can just have a few.
I mean, they never patched.
Well.
I mean, they never patched TF2 on the Xbox.
Well, they sort of did once.
With the initial version was so broken, I guess maybe they had to, but then like I don't think it ever got fixed into a working state really. Yeah, TF2 on consoles was a mistake. Apparently, like Half-Life and Portal and stuff are fine, but
Half-Life on the PS2? You could play that, can you? And that even had like extra content, I think.
it was that far back. I thought it was just like 360 PS3 time. I think
Orange Box, yeah.
It wouldn't have been on PS2.
So they did release Half-Life 1 on PS2
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and it had
like a
blue
new
shift
game as well, not just Half-Life.
Yeah, it had like
there was like a special light blue shift only for PS2.
Oh wow!
There was some weird spin-off.
I never heard of that.
Where you were a female scientist in an HEV suit, I believe.
Huh.
That's right. The two of you or something. Was it like co-op?
It was a co-op game for some reason.
It's mysterious.
Can't remember what that was called. Something dumb, I'm sure. Half-Life something dumb.
And that never got ported to PC, and I don't think, as far as I know. Because Blue Shift ended
Half-Life
up on
Decay,
PC.
is that it?
That's right,
Maybe.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, developed by Gearbox. There's an expansion pack for PlayStation 2 version. Oh, released as part of the PlayStation 2 version.
Oh, okay. I thought it was actually separate. Unless that's not the one I'm thinking of course, which is also possible.
And it's a co-op version.
Yeah.
Huh. I had no idea that existed. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's quite weird. It's like part of the canon as well in a weird way, I think.
I can't decide if Decay is either the best or worst name.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. It's sort of applicable, but is it too obvious?
It's not like the other ones were that great.
But they're just Half-Life.
I meant Blue Shift and Opposing Forces.
No,
Opposing Forces and Blue Shift are quite good.
I guess true, but
all those stupid puns are quite cool.
In fairness, none of these were made by Valve, were they? All the expansions were Gearbox.
Yeah, they were, yeah. I thought they were pretty good, though. Opposing Force was pretty good.
I'm not doubting the quality, it's just names.
Yeah.
I suppose they're still better than Episode 1.
But the names of the levels in Half-Life were mostly stupid physics puns, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like surface tension and various other ones.
I can't remember.
They weren't all. Yeah, because there were ones that weren't like Office Complex or On a Rail.
Imaginative.
Yeah.
Yeah, Office Complex and On a Rail. They are just. I mean, they you know exactly what's going on in that level, but they're pretty shit names.
On a Rail was great though. I mean, the level was really annoying and confusing.
But you weren't at home on those rails.
No, it's true. They weren't.
Home on the brew. So yeah, that's Sierra. There you go. They've got a very silvery new logo that's sort of like the old logo, but it's silver rather than yellow.
Was the old logo actually yellow?
Yeah, it's always been yellow.
Was it canonically yellow? Because it's been lots of different colours. I remember it mostly being more white than yellow.
I think in general it was pretty always yellow. Like, well, the text was white, but the logo was yellow. That's how I always remember it. Because, like, again, peering over my shoulder, that appears to be true of Half-Life 2 and World in Conflict. And Time Shift. Because, Time Shift. So Sierra. Weird. What else we got? Let's talk European Xbox users. It's like
Okay.
because like in Europe, because of like Freeview and the way we do digital over RF, I guess, like you don't need a separate decoder to get them. The Xbox One has a bit of a problem for most people because you don't need a Skybox, you don't need a Virgin box, or you don't need a FreeSat box to watch the majority of your TV. So the TV functionality in the Xbone for most people is an impossibility until now, because they're releasing a standalone Preview HD tuner for the Xbone,
sure,
which you can then plug into your HDMI port. And there you go.
They basically needed to do that just in order to solve that problem, right? But that's like an extra step to force people to watch TV through their system.
Yeah. And in fairness, it's not that expensive. They're releasing it for like 30 quid, but it's
okay. That's pretty good.
So it's not that bad, and it looks like a pretty tiny device, like a bit longer than the port sort of size. So it's like it's not that bad. It reminds me a lot of like Play TV, like because Play TV was pretty cool. Back in the day, like get your PS3 to turn into a Freeview DVR, and it was one of the better ones because obviously it leveraged the PS3's power to make the menus not suck.
Yeah, that's cool. Because they used to be slow as hell, some of those menus on Freeview boxes, etc., and old Sky boxes. It's like, oh, come on.
So the problem I had with this is that I don't think the One Guide is that great on the Xbone, especially like for me at least when you have Sky and there's just so many channels. It's like it's not actually that easy to get around it. It might be okay for Freeview where there isn't a great deal, and that might be okay to get around on that. So unless you're using Connect with the voice controls to change channel all the time, I'm not 100% sure you will be that thrilled, or it's not the most ideal way to watch, I guess. It's not like the Xbox acts as a DVR. It's like, if it did that, then maybe there would be some more value added into this, but otherwise it's just, to stop you from flipping source on your telly, really. Or if you want Connect to do things for you. So they could have made more of it, I think. They might still make more of it, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, there'll probably be loads of software updates throughout the life of the console, I would have thought. They'll probably try again, try and do more. I wouldn't be surprised. Because the 360 was pretty unrecognizable software-wise by the end of the blades and stuff were a distant memory.
Compare the last edition of NXE to the blades, and it's like, two different systems, pretty much.
Okay. Oh, I'm digging for more news. I've forgotten about this one. Did you hear that there was a slight uproar about the Colin McRae rally thing, Zach?
Oh yeah, no, I did hear that. Yeah. It's like
they released like the mobile version of the mobile game that was kind of inspired by Colin McRae 2, and then they put it out on Steam. And then people were like, shit, it's Colin McRae Rally, and bought it. And they were like, oh no, it's a crappy mobile game. What's going on?
Yeah, and the mobile game wasn't very well received anyway, so even as a mobile game, it's not very good.
It's just weird because it's got the car... It's got the old Ford Focus with the livery from Colin McRae 2.0. Like, is that just to confuse people? Or is that like...
I don't know. Well, as I said, as you said, the mobile game was mostly inspired by Colin McRae 2, including tracks and stuff just straight lifted from it. And it's like, maybe because it might have been the closest match to what mobile tech is capable of. It's like, well, we can just port Colin McRae 2 or some of it to it. Don't need to do much work here.
But it's not, though, is it? Rally. It's not even the same, though, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so that was a lot of complaints.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how they can get away with
it. The Codemasters did say that they were going to refund everyone anyone who wanted a refund for buying that on Steam can do so. And it's as easy as going to your account settings or something, and there's a refund button somewhere that you just push and they sort it out for you. You don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah, so that's cool. But still, I don't know how they can put something out named Colin McRae anymore after he crashed his helicopter and killed himself and his 5-year-old
No,
son.
it's a bit weird that the mobile game exists at all, like, with that name, I guess. Unless it was a re-release of the original games as they were, then in which case, yeah, sure, no problem with that. But
yeah, but it wasn't. That's the thing. So that's why it's so weird.
But then what else would it have been better for Codemasters to try and do something based on Dirt then, you reckon? Or
yeah, probably. Or
for a mobile title.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Anyway, so that's that.
I guess Dirt's a more of a brand at this point, isn't it? It's not like you can really, as I say, Colin McRae Rally isn't really a brand that you can use at this point, I guess. Like,
no, that's what I don't think you should. Yeah.
Someone in a boardroom somewhere.
You could call it Dirt Rally or something, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Because just to say it's only the rally part of Dirt, that would be nice. In fact, I want to play Dirt Rally. I was playing Dirt 3 this week.
Why does Dirt Rally not sound very good? I don't know, there's something about that word, that combination of words that makes it sound dumb. Dirt Rally.
It's because
Dirt Rally. Dirt Rally. Well, I suppose dirt on its own isn't like. Somehow that's better, but it's still pretty dumb. Like dirt.
Yeah, I mean, rally sounds like it could be an actual description of an event or something.
It's a dirty rally.
Dirt rally.
Dirty rally. Fucking filthy dirty rally.
Zach, have you seen this stuff about a new Settlers game?
Well, I'd heard that there was one being made.
In fairness, when's there not a new Settlers game coming? It's like that shit just keeps going.
I think we talked about the TV game. It was like at E3. I'm fairly sure we must have talked about it then.
There's a bunch of like screenshots and stuff of the new one, Kingdoms of Antaria or something. It looks weird because it looks, on the one hand, it looks like Settlers because it has like resource like maps and with like resources going between buildings and stuff and lines. So it's an actual Settlers game. But then if you look down at it, it kind of starts to look like a MOBA or something, or like an MMO almost. No, probably more like a MOBA. But
so what's this warrior
like heroes, like Warcraft
here?
3?
Oh yeah, that's
I don't know.
I do remember that video now from probably around E3 where it was just like, how is that Settlers? Because it showed like an adventuring party. And then they travel to basically an inn or whatever, and then it's like, and then of course a town kind of magically evolves around the inn. So presumably you're going to be like, maybe it's going to be like you're building a town for adventurers or something, that kind of thing.
Oh, strange. This looks a lot like Torchlight, like visually.
Yeah.
Until you get to the city plan, and it looks like a totally fucking different game.
I mean, weird. I thought this isn't the Settlers at all, and then there was one screenshot which showed all the resource paths and everything. And I thought, oh, okay, so it is the Settlers, sort of.
But with Diablo in it.
Well, I mean, that sort of idea has been done before. Ish.
But why?
I mean, it's basically Racketeer.
But why do it on the Settlers? Like this
because they don't have any idea how to make Settlers games since free. And there's been like 4 more after that.
I don't know. Does the Settlers brand have enough clout to go out and do like, let's fuck it up totally and do something different? Like,
well, because it doesn't have any clout, they can fuck it up totally, and then no one will actually care.
I guess. But don't call it the Settlers. I don't know. I don't like that. Like, I'm not against the concept. I'm sort of against them calling it the Settlers.
Yeah. Like, none of the other Settlers games past 3 should have been called the Settlers because they all sucked.
The sucked.
Well, it's not like 3 was as good as 2, anyway.
No, obviously.
Settlers 2 is such a calm game.
Well, arguably.
I just like the trees and the birds.
You haven't played it recently. I can tell you that's not as calm as you remember it.
I never actually got very far in it, in fairness.
To be honest, what the actual problem, this is from my experience of playing Settlers 2 on the good old games version where they updated it to run on Windows 7 or whatever. The actual problem with that version is because it's pixel art and you're running it at a modern resolution, you can see a lot more of the land which you'd think would be awesome, apart from everything's quite small, which makes it kind of awkward in itself.
Yeah.
But the actual problem is that the sound effects for like the trees and the birds and stuff are location dependent, and because you can see more of the map at the same time, it's just a constant bombardment of random sounds.
Oh, I know you were saying this at the time. Yeah.
That's annoying.
Surely
Surely you could fix that quite trivially if you could modify the game. You just need to change that code so that it's taking a area from the middle of your view rather than the
at least ambient sounds anyway. But you probably, if it's, I guess that's the problem, because if the ambient sounds are coming from things you can see within your viewpoint, and that's how the sound engine just works, then important stuff presumably comes from things you can see as well.
Presumably.
So you'd have to, I guess the trick would be to, like, based on screen size, just reduce the frequency of ambient sound.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
I mean, you can turn it off, but then it's weird because then it's just silent.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a couple of lines of code that need changing there. Somewhere buried. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's more than that in C or whatever it's written in.
Or just make it so you can zoom in.
Yeah.
Have fat pixel art.
Yeah.
It's the real way to play it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I wonder if the split screen still works in that version.
There was a split screen?
Yeah, you had to plug 2 mice in.
Does that even work?
Apparently. I think we tried it one time, and I remember it working, but we didn't actually play it because that was stupid.
Well, I suppose Settlers, at that point, Settlers was DOS, though, right?
Yeah.
You could do fucking anything in DOS.
I guess.
I get modern Windows would probably have a problem with that.
Probably.
Because I don't think you can dual mouse in modern Windows.
You can plug 2 mice in, but they can't operate as a separate thing.
No, they act as one cursor, don't they? And fight for it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny when you do that.
See whether that option still exists.
Yeah. Might force you to play with a controller or something. Or maybe you could Bluetooth a Wiimote on there.
It was a dumb idea anyway, because I mean, if you're playing split screen, you can see what the other person's doing at all times.
Yeah.
Which kind of negates the whole military tactics element.
The only dual mouse game I remember playing that worked pretty well was Lemmings on the Amiga.
Right.
Because it had a stupid combat mode where there were 2 streams of lemmings, one of each colour, and you can obviously only change the abilities of lemmings your colour.
Right.
And so the idea is but the maps always made it so at some point the streams of lemmings would forcibly cross each other or something. So the idea was to try and steal as many of your opponent's lemmings as you can. And of course, if things just went bad, then you just try and kill every lemming on the screen.
As you do.
So it was pretty good fun in a stupid, quirky way. Didn't have any longevity, but it was kind of cool.
Mm. So that's Settlers. Next.
Dual mouse games. There's 2 bits of Sony news.
Oh, yeah?
So, talking about things dying, Sony is killing off PlayStation Mobile, because, that was... Who cares about that?
Yep.
So, if you have an Android device that supports PlayStation Mobile, you can no longer buy PS1 games for it or something. I don't even know what it even offered, really.
No.
What was the point? You probably only got it on some early Xperias or something. But so that's happened. And also, there's a class action suit happening about how Sony claimed Killzone Shadowfall ran at 1080p when it doesn't. It runs at 900p upscaled to 1080, and Sony are but it's running at 1080. Look. And it's no, it's not. It's upscaled fake 1080. And apparently that's bad marketing, so people are suing them.
I'm not sure that's really anything to sue about.
It's I don't think you can claim it's a 1080p game.
I don't think they did necessarily that much, did they?
They probably did. Then again, it's any game that I own, probably. You look at the back of the pack, and most Xbox games will say that they support 1080.
Right.
Which you could misconstrue, I guess. And all that really means is actually it's okay for Xbox set to output 1080, but the game won't be running at it.
No.
So, by that logic, every Xbox game ever probably could be sued. Or Microsoft could be sued for putting that on every box. I don't know.
But that's the exact opposite. It's like you can't be sued because they put it there. They said it supports 1080 and it works on a machine that's outputting 1080. They didn't say it's rendering 1080p.
No, true.
pixels.
It's not. It's true. It's not specific, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know how like mismarketing, what the rules for mismarketing actually are. Like if you put something on the box, but it refers to something, but it's not clear what it refers to, then.
And also, I'm not sure whether that part of the box would even count as marketing, like the technical information area. I'm sure that must be regulated as a like thing you have to put on there.
But it'll be done by Microsoft. I don't think there'll be any rules like by Peggy or something to say, hey, you need this info on here.
They might.
Not that Peggy would care because that's just a ratings board. But you know
something
what I mean?
similar.
Yeah. I'm not sure there is a body like that for games. Although everyone does it, so maybe there is. Like Nintendo boxes are kind of bonkers now because they'd have to list all of the bits of Wii hardware that you can play the game with.
Yeah, it's like supports every one of these dumb controllers. that was like the long list for Smash Bros.
Yeah, I think Mario Kart is a pretty long one as well.
Yeah.
On the Wii U. It's like you can use the gamepad, you can use the Wii controllers, you can use the Wii Classic controller, you can use the Nintendo Wii U Pro controller. Oh yeah, you can use that big fuck off gamepad thing too. It's like, I think there's probably more somewhere. Like, hey, do you remember the Wii wheel? You can use that.
It's not technically a controller.
I know, but I think it's listed. So that's crazy. And that's pretty much it, other than I've got a note here about Paul McCarthy still loves money. And technically we do have a corrections column because after all, we said last week that we talked about the Xbox firing of like 18,000 people on the cast. And having sort of looked back on it, I don't think we did. So,
Well, I don't think there was
it's
much
old
to
news
talk
now.
about, was there?
It's old news now. Well,
Even at the time,
it's
because they fired a bunch of people and that was that.
Well, it's because Microsoft Entertainment, the Xbox Entertainment division was closing, was the related news there.
I'm sure we did say that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We probably mentioned about what we've just said last time when we were questioning about what we have already said. So, there you go.
So is that the news this week?
I think so. It's like,
cool.
There's some teasers for Gamescom, like, BioWare's new IP is probably going to get announced.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that could be awesome. I mean, who knows? But, I mean, they lost a bunch of guys. Didn't they just lose another guy at BioWare?
No idea.
I think that might be the top headline or whatever on.
And someone else was teasing something, but fuck if I know. But
I'm sure lots of people.
There was one other game that was like being teased that I think we knew roughly that it was coming, but we didn't. Some big developer, but we haven't seen anything of it. So
here we go. Casey Hudson, Mass Effect creator, leaves BioWare.
Oh, to do what?
To stop working.
To fulfill his own goals.
Yep.
It doesn't actually say. It doesn't sound like he's leaving to join another company or forming his own studio. It merely says he wants to hit the reset button. Lol. Okay. He probably plans to swim in piles of his own cash or something, yeah.
I'm gonna Scrooge you that motherfuckers. I don't need to work. Ever.
Anyway. So, let's move on. What you been playing, Robert Kemp?
Me? I've not got a great deal to talk about this week, to be honest. I've been playing a bit more Super Time Force, I guess. Still haven't finished it, but it's pretty cool. I'm still sort of enjoying it. It's not like it's not like if you're just going through the levels, it's a particularly hard game, but as mentioned before, it kind of gets hard when you're trying to do the badges or the medals stuff, figuring out how to get all the globes on a level or figuring out how to get through it to the ridiculously strict time limits is sometimes difficult. And I've not done hardly any of those. But it's still pretty cool. It's still quite fun to play. Sometimes immensely frustrating to play because, especially the fucking medieval level or something, because humans take a lot of bullets in medieval times, apparently.
Hmm.
and there are guys with big shields that can protect against giant plasma rifles. I don't know. Like big metal
Doesn't seem
shield
quite right.
prevents bazooka.
Well, it probably helps to some degree, not that much though.
No.
Not to a direct hit, anyway.
So it's a little dumb, but it makes it probably harder some places than it needs to be, or a little, less obvious. I mean, sometimes you can go through, like, there's so much stuff happening on screen when you rewind. Sometimes you can't see exactly where you're spawning, or exactly if there's an enemy under all that flashy fire and explosions. So, like, quite a lot of the time, actually, you'll just say, hey, start me from here, and you'll be right on top of an enemy and unable to see it from the replay. And I'll be like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, I better go further back then. And if you're doing a speed run, sometimes going further back can really fuck you up. Like, if you've managed to get to a certain point in the level super quick, because you've used, like, time slowdown things that you kind of have to manage how you use. And you're having to rewind before your usage of them, then that will probably screw up your speed run. So it can get a little frustrating.
It's just jumping it back a bit too far.
Well, no, you have full control. You can move to any point in the timeline apart from, like, a few seconds near where you died.
Right.
But, as I say, the problem is that the screen is too filled with stuff in some places, and you're thinking, I want to spawn there, right, but you just can't see the bad.
Right.
And just get insta-killed because you spawn on top of it or something. And you're like, oh, no. So perhaps when, like, it needed, like, when you, at least in those situations, like, perhaps to highlight death a little more. Incoming death. But it's still pretty fun. I like the music. I like the sort of chip nature of it, and it's really
that seems to be quite common, but I mean, you don't always get the best, like, chippy music, but when you do, it's always
no. But it's not like, it's not sort of super amazing chip style music, but it's like it fits with the game well. So
yeah,
it's not something you'd probably listen to outside of the game.
No, like, yeah.
That's all right. Been carrying on with that.
Have you got any desire to play that Shovel Knight thing? That look cool?
I do. I really actually kind of want to play that. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted by that too. I don't know. That'll be in a Steam sale, I expect, or in a bundle of humbles.
You have multiple humbles?
Probably not. It's an adjective, so no.
So there was that. Also on the list of things we've talked about before, I played a bit of Reus.
Yeah. More.
Some more, yeah.
Got a bunch more achievements.
I sort of like it, but at the same time, I think it's structurally kind of awkward and not very. I don't know. It's a bit repetitive, I think is my thinking. So, as the way Zach's already described this before, but its structure is basically like your playthrough is time limited. So I think the longest you can get is an hour.
Yeah.
And then
or is it 2 hours? Might be 2 hours.
Okay, I've only not unlocked the hour mode. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay. So yeah, you're basically like controlling a group of rock giants to affect this.
One rock giant.
Well, sorry,
and
just giants in general. There's one rock giant. There's a crab giant, and like four sets of giants. Each of their unique like abilities to shape the landscape and the world around your these human settlers, essentially. That then you need to provide resources for them, and there's a sort of balancing act of getting what resources they need, and then there's a trick to being able to like combine various resources to get their symbiotic effects into place. You can actually possibly get the resources they need, but then at the same time, you don't necessarily want to fulfill or grow towns too quickly, because if you do so, then they get greedy and they fight each other. So all of that is kind of fine, except for the fact that, I don't know, you kind of do the start game many, many times. Because it's like at first you only get like a 15-minute run, so you do the start of the game, and as it's sort of teaching you how to play, and then the results of your runs unlock the ability to do more next time, and eventually you unlock the ability to do a longer run, so you do it again, and then you unlock more stuff to do. But there's more stuff you left to do. There's more developments, as they call them, you need to achieve. So you do it again from the start. So you're playing that start game many, many times,
Right.
and I just find that tedious. It's like I'm sort of okay once I've got going. But it's like, but that start zone, I just find so, I don't know, it's worn me down.
But the idea is I think that you have to do it like repeatedly just so you get really good at it. Because you have to do it so quickly, particularly when you get towards the end, like the later level 3 or 3 developments.
Yeah, I mean, you
have to be doing the early game like as efficiently as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm definitely like in my last run, I was coming across town developments that I don't know if they were level 2 or 3. I think there's probably only 2s, like the observatory and stuff. And It's like the requirements for them are so much higher than I can achieve. Like I've been trying. I don't think I've got unlocked the right symbiotic effects for the bit of landscape I was on or something in order to just achieve them. And like there was a ton of them coming up, and all of them were failing because it's like I don't fucking know how it's possible. Because I'd get like the resources of one category sorted, and then I'd get close or achieve the second. But then the third one would be like, I don't know how the fuck to get this. It's like, how can I have all 3 do all this? And I just can't figure it out, and there's not enough time to figure it out. And you're like, I've got to go through the whole start game again to try and get to the point where I can figure this out again. It's like, I don't know.
Well, that's why you definitely need to make sure you get the development. Because I think maybe one of the problems is like,
I'm not sure. It needs like a tech tree view as well, so you can sort of figure out what turns into
that
what.
Would kind of help.
So you can sort of
you
plan
have to, rather than memorizing it.
Yeah, you have to memorize it or trial and error it. Like I'll put something on the ground and then sort of adapt it to the next phase, and then be crap, I can't go where I want from there. That's a shit ton of wasted time.
And the other problem with that is you have to you have to memorize what combination of ambassadors to put on the giants to get the things you actually need.
Yeah,
like if you need fruit aspect level 2 or whatever, you have to make sure you actually get the right ambassadors. Because of the way you can only you have to put 1 ambassador on each giant and then 2 ambassadors on each giant. So you can't make one giant have everything you want. You have to remember that giant has to get one at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, so I sort of think it's clever, but at the same time I think structurally it's kind of hindered itself. Like it feels too restrictive, like for how I want to play that game. It's like...
You have to be super hardcore.
Yeah, it does. You're right. It does require a sort of hardcoreness that I'm not sure I'm willing to put into it. I mean, I've put like 6 hours.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like and
it
takes a long time in actual fact to play that game. Really.
Yeah, it does. Like an hour run is actually
an hour long.
Well, no, but it's a lot longer in terms of game time because you're pausing it all the time to figure stuff out. And so I think I've only done one 60-minute run. Like that was my first.
Yeah.
And it's so as I say, I kind of like it. I kind of like its style. I kind of like its like very calm sound design and lack of sound design in places. But it needs
minimalist.
It needs a little bit of you structure around the edges. I think a tech tree would do it wonders.
Right,
like some. It does this pause menu does have just a button that's there all the time saying open the wiki.
Yeah,
it's
not even a very good wiki though.
No.
It's like average wiki.
I know, I haven't actually looked. I've been trying to figure it out, and it's...
Well, I mean, it's not like it's going to tell you much that you can work out easily yourself.
No, I just need the memory jogs to know, like,
you just need to look in, like, the developments list and then see, like... Because
That's the other problem sometimes. You follow a route down that makes sense, and then you get to a point where it's like, okay, I need something better than this, and it's like, because I haven't done those developments in a previous run, I can't make this better. So the rest of this run is kind of done, and it's like I've got to run down this 15 minutes of clock because I've actually just maxed out everything I can do everywhere.
Well, I can't remember whether the position of the development achievements is directly correlated to the position of what it unlocks in the unlock screen, because that might help.
Yeah, like most developments tied to one
plant or whatever that you unlock. Yeah,
So you could like target your. There may be a way of streamlining what you're supposed to be gunning for, and presumably that's the order they've given them to you. Maybe?
Well, the tiers. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, but they're sort of when you go into the development list, they're sort of.
Well,
in
the easier ones are sort of nearer the start, I guess.
And maybe that's the order they want you to do things. It's like the one that I just think would be super annoying to do is that like I still didn't do the Chosen People development, which is have only one town with a certain prosperity level, because like when you reach a certain prosperity level and the rest of your world is populated, like people just keep wanting to settle, so you destroy them, the towns, to leave only one, and then they just immediately settle a new one. You're like, fuck.
So you can just jip that by just making it a water world.
Yeah, I guess just drown everyone at the end.
Well, you don't need to do it at the end. Just do it from the start. Just make one island and then ocean the rest, so no one else can ever settle.
Oh, okay, I guess. Then that could be that's quite a boring run.
Well, you're going for that one achievement though, so you don't really have any choice.
Yeah, because I wonder if that one thing is like the blocker to a number of paths or something, or
maybe.
So that would be quite annoying if it is. I'd like this. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite nice, as I say. It'd be nice to. It's sort of nice to have a change of pace, like in a sort of Civ light sort of way, I guess.
Yeah.
Settlers light.
Yep.
And the sort of not direct control is quite interesting, I guess, as well. Like how the settlers, the humans at least, are sort of not under your control, really.
They don't really do anything.
No.
They're either fighting or they're not fighting.
Yeah. Well, they pick the challenges you have to do, sometimes super irritatingly. Like you've picked something I'm totally not spec'd for.
It's not like they pick it; it's just random.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, so there's that.
Cool.
Reus or Reus or Reus.
Reus.
Yeah, Reus sounds cooler, but I don't know how it's found.
The monkey. No.
What else have I played? I guess the thing I might have played the most the last 2 weeks is one of the games of gold.
Okay.
Crimson fucking Dragon.
Still. Did you get to the bit where you have to grind that everyone was complaining about?
Maybe.
Maybe. Played it that much, maybe you did.
I mean, I don't think it's very long.
Well,
and you can do most of the game with just, one dragon without like... So, okay, here's the thing. Straight off the bat, you can sort of tell that it's trying to be Panzer in style, like right down to Panzer Dragoon, sort of right down to like the choice of music, and how that's presented, to sort of the dragon designs, although I'm not a massive fan of the dragon designs in this compared to how they have been.
Mm.
And sort of in how the gameplay works as well. Like, so there's a lot of very familiar feeling stuff here.
But just slightly crapper. Well, quite a lot crapper.
Quite a lot crapper, yeah, because they've...
Yeah.
So the mission structure is kind of sort of straight out of the free-to-play playbook. So it's like there are 5 like areas, I guess, that they've just made that are just like environments, and the missions are basically like a path through those environments. But the variety, like as I say, because there's only like 5 environments that I've discovered so far, it's like they're not. It's not that varied, and like there's like at least 5 missions in each area, and 2 of those areas are basically a palette swap of each other. Like one's during the day and one's during dusk. And so it's like that's not great, and so like, and the enemy variety, there aren't many enemy types, so that's not very interesting. And I think that they are desperately trying to hook you with like the free to play like elements, like leveling your player character and dragon, and kitting it out with stronger ampoules or ampules or ampules. I don't know how you say it.
Ampules.
Ampules.
Amplified chickens. Ampules.
That give yourself a boost on a level on our consumables, and like if you die, you can like just refill all your health, but it will cost you a regenerator, which is a consumable item you have to buy with the in-game money, and it's And there's also jewels. Jewels are like Guild Wars. They're the things you can buy for real money, but you can earn those as well, like through passing mission achievements. I get essentially. And they're worth a lot more than coins, but you still need quite a few of them to buy like a dragon or something. I have like 50 of them at this point, just through gameplay, and like a dragon will cost you about 40 of the ones that I can access. So like structurally it's a little weird, and so even the missions themselves are quite cookie cutter in like, here's a set of enemies that do stuff, and it'll be split into like these little sections. So it's like the first section will be like fend off this attack, which means it doesn't care about you killing them. I mean, you kill them for points still, but the main goal of that section in terms of the mission is to not get hurt. And then the next bit will be kill all of the enemies. And then the next bit will be we're going to make you fly a bit faster for a bit. And then you've got to move around the screen to collect these yellow beacons, which is complicated by the fact that you might be turning a corner, and knowing where those yellow beacons are going to be on the path you're about to take might be a bit tricky. Oh, and here's a boss. Oh, here's a group of things you need to kill. Oh, and here's all range mode. Like, they have a free flight mode, which is crap. Like, trying to be Star Fox.
How does that even work?
The left stick then becomes your... Oh, so here's the other difference, I guess, from Panzer, I suppose. At all times, the left stick is flight control and the right stick is reticle control.
Okay.
So the two things are independent of each other.
Okay. But
then basically, that reduces the tactic you use, like, of flying to just, like, okay, slowly rotate the left stick in a circle so you're constantly moving, but just sort of moving around the screen in a way so nothing shoots you. And then just concentrate on using the right stick to shoot things.
That sounds boring.
It's not... I say all of these things negatively, but in some ways it does sort of have a draw. I don't know why. I sort of like... It's quite a calm, mindless game. In a way. Because you sort of know that, like, if it's a hard bit, because, like, the enemies get... Like, the missions have, like, a difficulty rating, and basically that means everything does more damage if it hurts you. And you can sort of just, like, doing the grind is actually kind of calming in a way and kind of relaxing. You just go back and play earlier levels to level up your dragon, or go back and do the grind to level up a new dragon, because obviously when you buy a dragon, it starts at level 1. So it's like,
right,
I can't do the harder missions with a level 1 dragon. I stand no chance. So it's sort of just nice, like, just in a way. It's really hard to explain. It's like not playing a game.
I get what you're talking about.
A bit like doing Guild Wars, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's nice to have a nice way of zoning out, but I prefer something like, I don't know, if you played that same level of Guitar Hero a million times and you just zone out playing it, it's a bit more fun.
I guess, yeah. So it's there's more to rant about. Like, it's not technically very good either. Like, so it doesn't look much better than what a 360 could do. And it's running at 30 frames per second. And it's like, this should really be running at 60 for some of the level design. And it doesn't feel like there's any reason why it's only running at 30. I mean, it's Unreal Engine powered, but, you know, that's no excuse. But they have a weird thing about, like, someone on the graphic design team obviously likes light rays, but, you know, when you're flying about and stuff, there's not really much of a place for rays to, like, shine through the canopies of trees, except on the forest level.
No.
So they do, like, dark rays. Like, for some reason, like, your dragons will cast, like, shadow rays, which looks like, this doesn't look right.
Awesome. Obviously like that, yeah, like you say, that feature in the engine or whatever.
Yeah, so that's a bit of it. It has got some interesting sort of social stuff. So, like, in the sense that you don't have to go into any mission alone. You can take a wingman, and by that doesn't mean co-op play. Although it does have like a co-op multiplayer mode or special co-op missions that I haven't tried. But you bring a wingman in, and then the wingman is basically someone you say you can either be in front of me shooting stuff in front of me, or you can be behind me shooting stuff behind me, or you need a wingman to be able to access your like super like screen clearing or high damaging moves. But you pick the level of your wingman. Like if you have friends playing the game that have played the fence, their current status can be purchased for use as a wingman for a few missions. So my cousin, for instance, is playing it right now, so I pick him because he's cheaper than all the other people it keeps suggesting because they're like a much higher level than I need. So like save my money.
Right.
So there's this sort of dynamic element, I guess, where if you were playing it or people you knew had played it, you should see them pop up on your potential wingman list, which is kind of sort of interesting. But when you actually use them in the game, it's a bit reductive. But there's also a way of sort of cheating. Like, because you could just hire a super expensive one who does tons more damage than you can, and in theory that means you will have an easier time, providing you don't get hit.
Oh, I see.
Because everything will just be dying, and that sort of insidiously suggests that, hey, guys, pay to win. You could buy these super awesome wingmen that will... But you still have to, like, there'll still be some shots you need to avoid, so it's not all...
Yeah, but
pay for success.
It's
but
heading that way, though.
Yeah.
But who cares? It's not the best game, so.
No, but weirdly, I feel like I'm probably going to stick with it for a bit. I don't know why.
Well, your reverence for the Panzer Dragoon is strong, so.
Yeah.
I'm sure that helps.
The dragons look a bit like flying monkey creatures at times. Like, it's the Wizard of Oz, isn't it? Or something where they have the monkeys with wings on.
Yeah, Fly My Pretties.
The old flying monkeys. Yeah, some angles they look a bit like that, and it's like I'm not sure because when they're flying, the dragons aren't really like long and sleek things. They sort of hang in the air like someone's holding them up by a coat hanger. It's like
right.
It's only when they're doing the flying fast thing that they look sort of right in the air. Yeah, so I don't know. It's probably a good thing that it's a game of gold, because if you'd paid like £15 for it or something that it normally is,
15?
It doesn't deserve that price tag.
But did it come out for full price when the Xbox?
No, it was always like that much, I think, as a download game.
Right, then. That's not so bad.
It's not had a disc release. It's always been that price, but I'm not sure it's worth that.
Yeah.
Because of the sort of free-to-play-esque trappings, it makes it feel cheaper. Or, freer.
So that's Crimson Dragon.
Crimson Dragon. But I do like the kind of main theme, though. The title music's kind of nice. Quite panzery.
Panzery?
Panzery. Bit Panzer Dragoon-y.
Oh, I see.
Sort of a tribally singing sort of thing, hasn't it? So there's that, yeah. What else have I been doing? That's the bulk of the new stuff, I guess. I suppose Zach and I could talk Nidhogg.
Yeah.
We got around to trying that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And it is sort of like equal parts awesome and equal parts... What?
Well, it's kind of like Smash Brothers in that, like, it's kind of simple in its mechanics, but then there will still be moments where you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and the problem is it's one of those games that because it's doing that all the time and because it's so fast, if you're on a losing streak and you don't know why, you know how I feel about that. I hate losing and not understanding. Especially when it's like, if it's like a one-off death, it's like, that's fine. But when it happens in a streak and I don't understand what's going on or why it's failing, then I get so frustrated by that. And Nidhogg can sort of do that. It's like, I think their control scheme or their combat system is perhaps a touch overcomplicated for what that game is. Like, I don't like the sword height thing.
Well, there's one major problem that I think that is actually Like, I don't know why it's that way, really. Which is the if you're midway in a stabbing animation. And you hit the button again, it just locks you into the same move again. It's like if you're midway through playing a stab animation, but you want to transition into throwing your sword, you can't input the button commands basically before that entire animation is completely finished.
Yeah, we sort of discovered why, didn't we, when we set it to the way to play it mode, which is put it on throw only with boomerang swords, because it's it takes time for him to move up through the states to holding it above his head, and if you press the button in a state before he reaches there, then he does the move for the state that he's currently in.
Well, no, that's
so if you're
not what the problem is.
So if you're mashing the button stabbing forward, for instance, and then you press up to raise the sword to a throwing position, but you're still mashing the button at the time, he hasn't had the free time to move the sword up, so he does it where he currently is.
Well, that's not exactly how that problem is. What that problem is, though,
That's how it feels like, because when you're doing the boomerang mode, and you raise, it's automatically trying to raise the sword, but you can duck, and then it goes for a short raise period. You can actually still do the high stab because it goes through that state.
But that's not what the problem is with the locking into the animation. The problem with the locking into the animation is it records input, but only the attack input, not the movement input. It's like if you could have it so that if you mashed buttons, it would just play out whatever you mashed.
Oh, I see. So how when you're in a fighter, I guess you can sort of pre-input sometimes, with a very tiny pre-input window. But, yeah.
Whereas in that one, it remembers that you've been mashing the attack button, but not anything else you were doing, which sort of is the problem, because then you just get locked into stabbing over and over.
Yeah. And that either one of those explanations is probably a side effect of something. It might not be how it works, but both of those are how it feels.
And it's weird because
I think the sword height, but we didn't explain what the sword height system is really. When you're standing, there's 3 different heights you can hold your sword, and you move between those by pressing up and down and not attacking.
Yeah, which is awesome.
So it sort of jiggles up and down. But then in the heat of a battle, which is lightning fast, moving to the position you want and doing the move you want is practically impossible, because half the time you say you want to move it to the low position that stops someone rolling towards you. Chances are you'll press down and attack too close to each other, which just does a low kick, which practically does nothing against rolls half the time.
Yeah.
And so, you can't do what you want to do to counter what's happening. And so your only, other option is to try and maybe jump it and come back into the fight later. And it's I think they've overcomplicated it with the sword height thing and the way the control handles that. Maybe it would be better, say, if sword action was on a different button from, foot action.
That might make it too complicated.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to think how you could use their systems to make...
Maybe you could hold a modifier to adjust sword height. Whatever.
Maybe, but then that...
Held down a trigger, then you could change it.
I don't know how you could keep all the systems and keep the control simple. But, as I say, because there's not enough control, and it feels like a hard one to have found a middle ground with the systems they have. You can't... I don't think you can balance that particularly well, the complexity of that combat system with simple control.
Well, it's just because it's too fast. That's actually the main problem.
Yeah, maybe we should play it on slow-mo. I don't know.
Because you don't have... It's there's no time to actually do things like change your sword height before you've just done what... It's the fight is over before you actually have any time to do any of stuff like that, which is why the whole problem of button mashing and getting locked into an animation loop is a problem, because you feel like you should be mashing the buttons really fast because everything's happening so fast.
Yeah, and some of the stab animations are quite slow.
Well, yeah.
Compared to the speed of the rest of the game.
But a lot of the time, you don't even need to stab, because it's just automatic. If someone runs onto your sword, you just kill them anyway.
Which is in itself pretty funny. So... Yeah, that's I think my opening statements is pretty accurate. It's equal parts awesome and equal parts a real head scratching clusterfuck of a game.
And there's really only one good level.
What, the first one?
Yeah,
I quite like the cloud level. Because it's funny. It's funny with the falling platforms. If you get stuck doing the wrong finisher.
But that's just because you get locked into the animation again. And then the cloud falls apart.
That's funny though.
But the castle is the only really good level because it has the right Well, mainly, I think the main thing that makes the castle better is it's just big.
Yeah, it is a bigger level
because it's like all the other ones are quite short in terms of width.
The mine is super annoying because of that corridor that you can't jump in or throw the sword.
Yeah, the no jumping, no sword throwing bit.
Yeah, it's like if the ceiling was perhaps just a tiny bit higher so you could throw, then that might have been fun.
Yeah, but then that would probably be too overpowered because there's only two ways to avoid throwing, and that's either rolling or jumping.
But you just roll it.
Yeah, but then
but you can parry it, can't you?
Maybe. Yeah. If you can get your sword into the upright position, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the visual style is quite nice. I'm not so sure about the audio style.
That's the other reason the castle is the only good level, because of the weird, jungle music.
Weird. It's got I think it's got the Amen break in the drum set they use.
Yeah.
And it's...
Oh, really?
It's sort of weird because most of the music is really painful. You've got to say, it's it is apart from the cloud level, which is weirdly nice sounding,
parts of it are.
Yeah, it's a bit lifted, but it's I don't know. It's really oppressive, sort of heavy, nasty beats.
I mean, the mine obviously sounds like kind of industrial.
Yeah,
it's chunky beats.
But I can't decide if it's garbage on its own, but I can't decide if it's brilliant or terrible for the game, because it does sort of fit with the weird styling of everything.
Yeah.
But it does bleed you from the ears. No, I'm not a massive fan, but I'd imagine few people actually would be fans of that soundtrack, but So Nidhogg.
Nidhogg.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. I think I probably got to stop there, Reus. I don't think I've got much else other than I've been playing Microsoft Mahjong.
Okay.
Because I like.
At least you haven't been playing Microsoft Bingo or whatever the hell Jeff Gerson's been playing.
Well, I got bored of Minesweeper.
Yeah, naturally. So you look at one of these other games.
Well, basically, I got to the point where I had most of the achievements that I thought were manageable. Some of them are play several thousand games or something. Or a couple of them required, I think, you to start a game on a Windows 8 platform and finish it on your mobile or something. It's
great.
I can't fucking do that. So
not any longer, anyway. So you could have done at one point.
Yeah, I'll just steal my work Surface and put Minesweeper on and go, what are you doing? I need these achievements. So I put Mahjong on my phone, partly because I don't think I've ever... I know this is going to sound crazy because Mahjong is such a fucking simple game.
Yeah. I
didn't actually know how it worked.
Or at least that specific rule set of Mahjong, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's basically, isn't it? It's anything with a horizontally free edge you can match with something else that has a horizontally free edge that's not under something.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's just patience, isn't it, to see if you can get through.
Yeah.
So the mobile version is a bit weird because I'm pretty sure it organises the levels so they're all possible.
Well, you don't... Is that actually just a thing?
Is that just well, there's several layouts.
Well, but I mean, is it just
Solitaire doesn't do that, of course.
Yeah, no. Is it just a mathematical thing that it's always possible? Because
it's a good question.
I've played a goddamn ton of Free Cell, and those are, I'm fairly sure, I'm 100% certain that you can finish every game of Free Cell, because I've done it.
Fair enough.
Well, not literally every game, but I've played 1,000 games and won all of them.
Huh.
It's just a matter of finding the way to get through it.
Free Cell's a game I don't understand either. I've never played that.
That's not complicated.
Well, I have played it, but back in the days where I'm a kid and it's on Windows, there's fucking cards.
It's just like Solitaire.
Do you see someone on Etsy was selling actual physical cards that had all the kind of the bit art or whatever, pixelated art from the Microsoft Solitaire. So it had that beach scene on the back or whatever.
That's funny. How did they animate the sun?
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty genius.
Sued by Microsoft.
Yeah.
No, I think it was. I think they got permission somehow.
It's Microsoft even care? Is that really a? I suppose it is a thing if someone did it.
Yeah, but that was kind of cool. But yeah, solitaire quite often is impossible. Like, I don't know how often it's impossible. Like 1 in 10.
Well, considering it's like a casino game, quite often I would imagine.
Yeah,
because they don't want you making any money.
I'm pretty sure it's impossible the majority of the time, especially with the draw 3 rules and things, or the Vegas rules where you can only like go through the pack like a couple of times.
Yeah.
Then that must be a bit impossible. But so the only times I think you get stuck on this are almost always things that you've created, a problem you've created for yourself.
Well,
it does have an undo, so you can just roll it back and like you know the tile set that was causing you a problem later on, and you'll just play that. You'll match those tiles differently, and then it won't be a problem later on. And
that's basically what you do for free sale.
But the game basically just gives you a free win button. Like, so it has like you get 1 reshuffle per game, and that basically just takes all the tiles on the board and reshuffles them in a way
that there'll be some matches that you can make.
Yeah.
So once you get stuck, you just use that, and then
by the time you're stuck, you're most of the way towards finishing it. So you reshuffle it, and then the answer is super obvious.
Yeah.
And it's like, so like if you lose a game, the thing is it tracks a loss when you get to the state where there's no matches, but you still have a reshuffle. So it would say, it looks like you're stuck, but you can go back to it if you want, but it tracks that as a loss.
Right.
But then you'll do it and you'll like use your shuffle and complete it, and then that tracks it as a win. So one game can count as both a loss and a win.
Okay.
On your stats, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like you have to go one way or the other. Surely it's like if you've got no matches but you've got a shuffle, surely the game's still live. You know, there should be a give up or something, and that counts as a loss. I don't know. But I've been playing quite a bit of that. I don't really know why.
Yep.
Microsoft Mahjong. It has got a couple of achievements that I'll probably never make. Like, there's one for getting. I'm pretty close to getting one for making either 1,000 matches or 10,000 matches, or I've passed that point. But then there's like one for like 100,000 at some point. It's like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to be playing this. Game that is actually quite easy, even in the expert layouts. For that much time.
Okay.
So that's probably another game I can't get the maximum achievement points for.
Cool.
No.
Well, that's Rob then, I guess. Incapable of getting the maximum achievements for a game. It's because it's been virtually impossible.
I'll ask you something I like. This is sort of gaming related, but like,
okay.
We went to like IKEA a little while back to try and like
totally gaming related.
Well, we've been sorting out my office upstairs, so we got some more furniture to sort of clean it up a bit, which is currently filled with crap again because I needed to clean one of the other rooms temporarily. But I was thinking like making it slightly more, because I spend quite a lot of time in that room working and stuff. That maybe I need to put some things up on the walls and stuff. So I was thinking like doing these little I don't know, either miniature framed things or like mini canvases, but have them as sort of like a silhouetted or monochrome symbol from gaming. And I haven't really landed on things that I want to put up. Like, I don't know. It could be any kind of symbology. Like, as I was looking at the orange box earlier, like a bit on the side of that thing is the heavy and medic in silhouette, that kind of, or the Half-Life symbol itself, like just put that in a frame, or the Sonic. I thought like maybe the Sonic and Knuckles like weird 2 heads thing,
right?
Like things that would map well to a monochrome look,
like the Zelda shield thing.
Yeah, the Zelda shield, or the even something as simple as the Triforce, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I made the Sonic and Knuckles head thing in like art class in like middle school. I made a print block of that. So that's been done. I could probably get that book out. You can have it.
Digital, like, so if I get frames, then I can just print them out and put them in this frame, and then it'll be like interchangeable. So if I'm like bored of that face, I can put some other.
You can have my old art book and just cut that page out.
Maybe.
What about the Smash Brothers kind of oval thing with the cross through it?
Yeah, that sort of thing could work. I thought of that one as well. Yeah. But, like, if I had a set of, like, 3 or 4 of them, does that need to be a theme? Or just, like, if you had just random things together, does that work? Like,
Well...
the Destiny crotch, I don't know.
The Destiny crotch. Well, you could theme them on one game, couldn't you? You could have the symbols for all of the classes in Tier 2 or something.
Yeah, you could probably quite easily do that for, like, Mario stuff, couldn't you? Like, have one of them as a shroom and one of them as the outline of a bomb or something. That stuff translates kind of well. I don't know. Is there any sort of like awesome left field ideas or something rather than the mainstream stuff? Like the ship designs from Icariga make kind of cool ones. Like, cause they did,
that'd be cool.
Like they did like official art for those in monochrome, which is kind of nice. But then you can only really do 2 of those because there's only 2 ships.
Yeah, but you could have them inverted, and then you got 4.
Yeah,
because it's a character.
Yeah, do them in blue and red rather than black and white. That sort of thing.
Okay, well, we'll get back to you next time with some more ideas, possibly.
Yeah, just sort of, I don't know, an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Someone else's
dun.
turn.
Okay.
I've been playing FTL mostly this past 2 weeks, trying to watch your video to try and understand how the hell to play it, and getting a bit better, but still being shit. But getting there slowly.
I think that's just that game, isn't it? Like,
I beat it on easy mode, and now I'm moving up to normal mode, but getting killed almost immediately, pretty much.
So I've never actually played it on easy mode. Like I followed Zach's like be hardcore, play on normal kind of approach.
Well, I don't know what the difference is. It's just a bit easier because you get more scrap, and the enemies spawn. They aren't so hardcore, I suppose. But that's it, right? So that's the difference, right?
I guess the difficulty doesn't ramp so fast, or
maybe that's it. Anyway, but I nearly died on easy mode, so even on that run, because like it never gave me the chance to buy a defense drone throughout the entire game. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I had no defense at all against missiles of any kind.
Yeah.
Purely because of that.
Unless you just went all engines, I guess, then you could go for evasion. That's
that's true.
Shots, though.
Yeah, but I wasn't upgrading the engines.
How high can you even get?
But I guess that could have worked.
I think you can get over 50%.
Yeah, I guess I could have gone for engines. But anyway, yeah, so that happened, and then I just played it again this afternoon on normal mode, and I died for the. Oh, I know what happened was I because on the previous run I didn't have the defense drone. When it was quite early on, and I got to a store and it was selling a drone control with a free defense drone. I thought, oh, I better get that, but it was slightly too expensive and I couldn't afford it. So I sold my missile launcher because I thought, well, this Artemis thing, I'll probably get a better one anyway in a few turns. So, and then of course I accidentally ended up fighting a ship that had like 3 shields or something, and I was screwed because I had no way of getting through the shields.
Should just jumped away.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I should have done.
Or like do the other thing, which is just get as far as unlocking the NG ship, and then do that because like that run went surprisingly well for us.
Well, the NG ship is easy.
Yeah.
I have unlocked one ship. Is that the NG ship? The first one you unlocked?
Is it the square donut?
Yeah, the square one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the NG ship.
Is that easy? Okay, maybe I'll give that one a try. Because I got one achievement for the Kestrel in that easy run. Because I didn't have the defense drone, I went down to 1 health and then repaired all the way up to maximum.
I still haven't done that because I either never get to 1 health, or if I do get that low, I don't have enough money to do a full repair.
Right. And you never full repair anyway, do you?
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. That would be the only time if I remembered to do that achievement. Also, I don't play the Kestrel any longer, I guess.
That's the thing, because I was doing well. I had loads of weapons and I had shields and money. I had everything, but there was no way to avoid taking damage from the missiles because there was just nothing I could do. So that was annoying. Anyway, So I need to
get your jump drive up and escape, I guess.
Well, that's engines
I guess.
as well, so you might as well just have the evasion.
Do you guys upgrade the engines then? Because I didn't see
well, we usually
go for shields
on our
first.
run. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I never upgrade engines.
I think that might have been where I was going wrong in my early days, because I sort of thought, I can afford the engines better, so like get those out.
Well, you were just buying whatever you can afford rather than actually thinking about it and saving money.
At first, yeah.
You're bad at financial.
Well, I just thought, like, I thought it worked a bit like a gaming upgrade system, like a lot of games do, where it's like, the reason why they're cheap is like because it expects you to have them early,
right?
So you buy them up, thinking that the amount of scrap, I guess in this case you'd be gaining, will be going up later, making buying the longer ones or the longer ones, the more expensive things, easier and more useful towards the end,
rather than it actually being a choice.
Yeah, which obviously that's not how it plays out.
Yeah.
I did well with the breach bomb thing in that easy run. That was really useful. But then the next time, all I got was a fire bomb, and that was totally crap. It missed loads of times in a row, and then I couldn't actually take. So when I couldn't, I didn't have enough lasers to get through the shield. So I thought, well, I've got this bomb thing. I'll try this to set a fire in their shield room, but it didn't harm it at all.
Well, it's because the fire bomb only sets fires. It doesn't do any damage to systems.
Yeah, that's the trouble. So I would have been better off with my missile launcher, but I'd sold it. God damn it! To get the defense drone.
I don't think the fire bombs are actually like really usable as a primary weapon on their own, because you wouldn't be able to do anything. But I mean, if you have the fire bombs, the only real viable tactic is to bomb the oxygen room, because if it's like.
Fighting fires in the oxygen room is irritating.
Well, because it's always a 2-square room for a start, so they can only put 2 people in there to fight the fire. And then if they fail to fight the fire before the oxygen room gets destroyed, then the fire will burn up the oxygen, and then they won't be able to go in there to repair the oxygen room without taking damage. So if they don't have a med bay, they're basically screwed at that point. And then you can just set fire bombs in any other room that still has oxygen.
And burn up the oxygen if the oxygen's down. Yeah.
But
Okay,
that would probably still take more than 1 firebomb's worth of missiles even to get to that point, and then you're just burning missiles like shit.
Yeah.
Firebomb's not actually a good weapon. Just like the fire beam, also pretty goddamn useless.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
Well, it's mainly useless because it's a beam weapon. Because it's a beam weapon that does no damage, it can't penetrate shields at all. Because the other heavier beam weapons have shield penetration because they do more damage.
Yeah.
So the fire beam can't penetrate shields, so you have to have something else to take out the shields before the fire beam even becomes usable. And then all it does is set fires and damage crew, I guess.
But that's all I had, so unfortunately, because I'd sold my basic missile launcher, which was stupid. I should have kept hold of it, I suppose.
It's one of those weapons you might find a use for if you were given it at some point.
Yeah. Or if you just had a lot of other weapons and you weren't using any missiles, you might as well just have it.
Yeah.
So do you think I should have not bought that drone bay at all?
I'm not sure I'd trade missiles for drones. I don't think I'd
No, but it was just because that previous run I never got the chance to buy a defense drone at all, and I thought, well, this way I get a free one. Anyway, never mind. Should stop complaining.
It depends, because we didn't need missiles on our NG run, did we? Well, we picked up a bomb.
Well, it's because you have the EMP thing on the NG ship, the ion blast,
which is super useful.
What do you use that?
Well, you just fire at the shield bay,
yeah.
Because it's an ion thing. It disables a shield per shot for a certain length of time.
Yes,
yeah.
But because it's the level 2 version of the ion blast, it fires incredibly fast. So it just basically you just set it on auto fire onto their shields, and then it's guaranteed to disable their shields eventually. And then
you just hit the weapons with your main gun to stop their missiles, do you?
Yeah, pretty much. And then shoot whatever else you want. You just leave the ion cannon always auto-firing on the shields, and then you're basically good. Unless they have good evasion, I guess.
Yeah, that can screw it up.
In which case, their shields can turn back on occasionally.
And sometimes, it'll recharge for a split seconds occasionally.
Okay, well, I'll probably keep playing it, I think. but I'm
It's
still
pretty
going to be shit. Yeah, quite enjoying it. At least getting in a more idea of what's going on. So it took quite a while. Anyway, that's me. What about you, Zeg?
Games I didn't play, I can say. I downloaded Dota.
Okay.
That's as far as I've got.
Well, okay.
Because I'm still...
Sorry, you downloaded what?
Dota.
Oh, Dota.
Because I'm still fighting myself about it. Because it's like, I don't know, a bit of me says...
Just play with John. He'd be really excited.
A bit of me says, like, I should see what the fuck this is all about. But at the same time, everything I read about starting out in that game is a horror show.
Yep.
Like, the quote I read from, like, a well-respected beginner's guide to Dota basically said, the first 100 hours will be rough. And I'm like, fuck. 100 hours!
Then once you get past that, you won't be playing anything else.
Yeah, what that? Would I... Well, yeah, And that's also the risk. Like, do I really want to get addicted to a game like that? I don't know. I'm not sure I have the personality to like sink enough hours into it before just becoming massively pissed off of it. It's like, at least with like other games, like Awesome. I may have put 50 hours into Awesome Noughts, but like it only takes a couple of games to sort of figure out how to be somewhat useful. Whereas, you know, as I say, Dota, there's just so much knowledge required. It's a fact retention nightmare, and I'm terrible at that. So, yeah.
I don't know. I think you'd probably get quite good at it.
I sort of want to try it. Like, even if I don't go online, like, again, that's the advice. Like, play offline for fucking hours and get to grips with it. I mean, it would be cool if, like, either you or Zach, like, would, like, come with me, not to play online, but just to play against the bots and stuff like that. See if we can, like, figure it out as a team. Because I'm not sure soloing my way into Dota is going to be much fun.
You could do it as a video series with
Second
Rob try and figure out how the hell Dota works. No, you might help some people along the way.
I doubt it. I'm sure there's plenty of other videos out there for a game that popular.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably need to start a big proper game. Like Batman or Assassin's Creed or something.
Definitely play Batman Arkham City if you haven't played that.
I have not.
It's definitely worth it. You've got it, right?
Yeah, I do have it.
Yeah, definitely play that. Well, that might be more of a wintry game than a summery game.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's why I've been playing like slower paced games, like because like they require less attention, and then attention is something I don't have when I'm warm.
You should do a study into that.
How dopey is Rob when the summer occurs? And just do a test.
You managed to work at home without air conditioning. It's pretty impressive.
Like that implies I work.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I do, but it's hard. It's like I'm not as productive. I'm just like outright not as productive during summer.
Yeah.
Just do not get on with it. So, boo earns. Who plays that?
Yeah. What have you been playing?
I can't remember what I was going to say, apart from the one big thing, as usual. I mean, this is how it always goes for me. Oh, wait. No, I do remember one smaller thing that I sort of played, but not really at all. I borrowed Rob's PS2 in order to basically play Guitar Hero, because I felt like playing some Guitar Hero.
Cool.
So
And have you?
Sort of.
Which means sort of.
Well, the first problem is that because it's a PS2, it barely fucking functions.
Yeah, it was never great when I got it.
Even when it was always new, it was barely fucking functioned.
Yeah.
So, I spent a fair amount of time just trying to get it to read any discs at all.
It's probably just super dusty, because it's
probably.
Like, that drive bay wasn't... The drive in a PS2 isn't brilliant.
No.
And, like, I do remember having to, like, get a disc clean a disc
Yeah.
on it a few times.
So I'm fucking around, opening and closing the drawer and rotating the disc many times.
Yeah. We just need to somehow open it and get like maybe I should give you my like miniature Henry, like so you can just shove the Hoover stick in there and.
But yeah, I couldn't get frequency to load.
Oh really?
At all. But that disc is kind of fucked if you look at the actual disc. It's a bit scratched. Also, that disc was still in the PS2, which probably didn't help it at all.
Oh shit! No, that can't be good.
So yeah, frequency looks a bit fucked up. Amplitude loaded okay. But of course, the trouble with Amplitude and Guitar Hero 1 is they're basically unplayable because of TV lag.
Oh, has it got that bad now?
Yeah. I mean, Amplitude...
Don't they have, like, adjustable things?
Only since 2, which is the one that I actually ended up playing.
Guitar Hero 1 does.
Oh, right.
And even on 2, it was like... I ran the calibration like over and over, and it was just giving different results every goddamn time.
Oh, it's because the calibration is like because it relies on
you doing it.
Yeah.
But then also I was like, well, what the fuck is this progressive scan option? Turn that on, which doesn't seem to change anything to the image, but it about halves the lag.
Oh, your progressive scan is just like that's obvious. It's sending it as a P signal rather than an I signal.
Well, yeah,
and it can do that.
But it was just like half the lag as well for some reason. So then when I recalibrated that, and then I got it down to like, the lag is 110 milliseconds with progressive scan turned on, and that's playable, I guess.
Yeah, it's not great, but that's doable.
Well, I mean, with the lag conversation, you'd think it should be perfect once you've calibrated for it, but even then I still find it like kind of awkward. But also I just suck at Guitar Hero, more so than I did in the past, where I actually still also sucked at Guitar Hero.
Like rock band bass man, right?
Yeah, I always sucked medium difficulty on bass. Was my standard.
Dum 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 dum.
So yeah, I did that, and that was about it in terms of PS2. I played a small amount of Amplitude and discovered that it's just about manageable with lag, but I was really bad at that as well. And also, another problem with your PS2, I think all of the controllers have a different error with them.
Oh, really?
It's like one of them, like one of the L buttons just constantly activates.
Activates.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them I thought got stuck.
Well, maybe that is like maybe it's got stuck, but also the buttons popped back up as well.
I think one of them has a physical square button problem. That was my PSP. The square button used to get
jammed in. Yeah.
I think that was a problem with all the PSPs because the way the center point of the square button was not in the center.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like one of them has one of the L buttons constantly triggers, and then I think another one of them, like the stick center, is really bad, so it constantly jiggles the stick around.
That's a really disappointing.
What were you expecting? It's like that PS2 was
a couple of the controllers, yeah, fine, but all of them.
Well, one of them. I think the one that I ended up using because it actually worked was the white PS1 one.
Oh, that's the best one.
Yeah, that's the only one that actually still works.
Yeah, as we've discussed before, that thing is built brilliantly.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Not your weird, fake PS2 controller as well.
Oh, yeah, I do have one of those.
That's still fucked.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
That was probably fucked when you got it, though, because it was fake, off-brand.
Yeah, it's not a real one. It's not an official controller. And everyone knows they suck.
Yep.
Zeg, I've just opened a notebook that I had on my desk. Okay. An A5 notebook. I'm just looking at it. It says it's from Woolworths, so it's obviously quite old. Yeah. Anyway, I just looked in the back of it, and it has some writing in it that's not mine, and I'm wondering if it's yours, because it has lists. And I wonder if you could tell me what this... I'm wondering if this is to do with Eve or something. It says, okay, there's a list labeled 1. It says Sport Boost, Eve Link 2, Medical Expert 2, Sport Boost 2, Natural Camouflage, Hacker's Delight.
They sound familiar.
Booze Hound. And then 2 has Speedy Hacker, Safe Cracker, Security Expert 2, Focused Hacker. What game is this? Is this a game?
That sounds really familiar.
Photographer's Eye, Static Discharge 2, Wrench Hurler.
Oh, that's got to be Bioshock, surely.
Yeah. Wrench Jockey. Yeah, maybe
it is Bioshock. Yeah. Yes, you're right. That is Bioshock.
Yeah, that Eve, right? Because it's Eve as in Bioshock.
Yeah.
So is this you? Is this your writing, Rob?
It's not me. That's what
I don't remember ever writing anything down about it.
Well, who the fuck wrote all this?
Why would I ever write Bioshock stuff down?
I don't know. Why would you write down? Why would you just list a bunch of?
Why would
Well, because obviously someone was working out their optimal upgrade tree to whatever playstyle they wanted.
Yeah,
because I've made lists like that for like Fallout 3 and Deus Ex.
Okay,
I don't do that.
Mysterious. Anyway,
Well, you can't really do it if you don't know what you're going to get.
No.
I mean, in Fallout 3, it lists all the perks. You can see all of them from the start, so you can actually plan it out, because you only get 20 of them, so you just choose the ones that you want.
All right, I don't think it's my writing because you can read it.
That's probably true.
so anyway, Mysterious Notebook.
Yep.
That doesn't sound like us.
No,
we don't.
maybe not.
I'm pretty sure it's not me.
So, yeah.
Also, I don't buy notebooks.
Well, neither do I,
No.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that. I write stuff on pieces of paper.
Yeah, I write it on crap. That's what I do.
Well, you write it on like envelopes and shit.
I have one notebook and that Gnome bought me from Paper Chase I've used about 2 pages on since I've had it, and I've had it like a couple of years because I intended on like, maybe I should do work a little more professionally sometimes and like write my notes in a book that I can refer back to rather than scrawling it on the back of a failed printout of something.
Right.
And I've only ever used it for like a couple of times to like structural diagrams for things I'm really struggling with. So I do notes very rarely.
Right.
Pens, man.
Yeah.
I've forgotten how to write.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. I can't write ananymore. That was the
can't write
podcast
for any-
alarm, by the way. So
Yes, I know.
We're back.
I can't write for any length of time. My hand just gets super achy.
Yep.
So type it.
So anyway, what I've been playing since we're already at the end of 2 hours 15, and we didn't even get to anything.
I was about to take my headphones off.
Yeah, you were for some reason.
And one of my ears is getting sweaty.
You've had one of them exposed most of this time.
Yeah.
Exposed ears.
Is
So anyway,
that what happens? Like, if they're both like covered, then they're sort of okay. But if you like expose one, the other one sort of panics.
okay.
Is it? I don't know.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Oh, okay.
What the hell are you talking about?
I thought you said like it was because I thought you said a second ago it's because I've had one exposed.
No. I said you've had one exposed.
Oh, sorry. No, not because.
No, because. So yeah, fortunately for the length of this podcast, I guess, I've actually only really played 2 other things, and one of them for most of the time, and one of them for only a very short amount of time.
Okay.
So the very short amount of time is I actually started playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon again.
Hey,
So that's the thing that we don't need to talk about,
I guess
because I've only just started it again and it's still good.
Yeah.
So we're done with that. And then the thing that I spent way too much time on was I went back to Minecraft again and went into Thauncraft 4
Oh yeah.
instead of 2 to see what was up with 4, to see if it was good or bad,
After you sort of thinking that it might be bad.
or less interesting, I guess. And then, so it turns out Thauncraft 4 is like, it's sort of interesting, but in like, well, as I suspected, it's fairly different. It's like it barely operates on the same systems, apart from having some like common terminology type stuff and the vague concepts of like magic, of like how it works, there being elements and like invisible magic sources that you draw from and that kind of stuff. But so like the way Thauncraft 4 works now is because I think it's almost too complicated for its own good, but part of that is because it uses sort of concepts like multiple times in different ways that is sort of confusing. So basically, if you want to, one of the first things you do is you make like a scanner, basically, and the idea is you go around and scan things, and then you discover what they're made of, essentially. And so you scan things, and it tells you what it's made of. So it's like, oh, this dirt block is made of earth, surprisingly. Although earth the element, obviously, not literally earth. That'd be a bit less, a bit more dumb. So
This dirt is made entirely of dirt.
Yeah. So you're scanning it to find out what elements it's made of, and then that's giving you research points, or otherwise known as aspects. And then in order to research technologies, you basically play this sort of mini game where you have like a hex grid, and then there's 3 set elements that you have to link up by creating a path of other elements that are created from adjacent elements or whatever. So you scan. So you have the 6 basic ones like earth and water and air or whatever, and then all the other ones are compound ones where it's like, oh, if you mix earth and water, you get life. So it also has a sort of doodle god style element as well, where if you want to research new elements without using the scanner, you can just combine things until they make something new. So yeah, so that's like the research. So that's like you're scanning and you're getting these research points or aspects, and then you're using those. But then when you're scanning an object and you're seeing what it's made of, that's like a totally separate resource as well, which plays into the alchemy system, where you can like chuck the things in a crucible and break them down into the elements, and then that becomes like a liquid of that element. So you can get like a liquid jar of earth power or water power or life or whatever. And then you can obviously there's still some element of the piping system from Thauncraft 2 in that bit.
Right.
So you can like pipe it around and recombine it to make stuff. But not all that much actually. That's like quite a minor aspect of the whole thing, is like the alchemy side of it. And then you've got the wands where when you go around the world you'll see like these aura nodes that you can scan, and that will give you some research points for whatever they contain. But then the nodes can contain like multiple elements, and then you suck that power up with your wand, and that's like another type of power.
Right, like a currency sort of thing in a way. Like, because when you say you're sucking up the power, you're sucking up like a number of power.
Yeah, into your wand storage.
Right.
So that's like, I guess you could say it's like gas, I guess, instead of liquid or whatever.
Right.
So you suck it out of the nodes, and then the nodes regenerate over time, so you can just recharge off it.
Okay.
But then, so like, it's using the same elements and the same symbols in all 3 of these different ways.
Oh.
So that was quite confusing initially, because I was like, because it's like, well, at least unless there's some research I haven't got to yet, I don't think there's a way you can turn the liquid into wand power. So you can't like throw stuff into a crucible, refine it into the liquid, and then somehow jam that into your wand. It seems like the aura nodes are like a totally separate.
You can't like just attach a new clip to your wand.
No, this doesn't seem like it. So yeah, that was kind of confusing initially. But like, so you have to sort of realize that those are separate trees almost. And so
yeah, perhaps some UI work needed there, at least to like or some sort of border around the element to sort of say, oh, this is the element for this is the element type for this.
Maybe. But yeah, so like from then on, that's like the basic concepts. But then actually doing any of this, it then sort of gets even more complicated, because initially you've got your wand, and then you can like attach different ends to your wand to do different things, like a flamethrower or a mining beam, basically,
right,
or whatever. And that's actually kind of like, it's actually a weirdly fancy bit of UI, because it actually has like a little radial menu.
Okay.
So you can hold on, a little radial menu pops up, and you can choose which one of your wand caps you want to put on.
Do you have to like construct like or craft the bits for like it's like Lego wand craft?
Yeah, you just make the different end parts.
Wand store.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like so the initial crafting is reasonably uncomplicated. You need a special crafting table, and most of the recipes need some amount of power in your wand, and then there's like a slot on the crafting table where you put the wand while you're doing the crafting, so it can pull the power out of it for the crafting the mystical stuff. And that's fine. But then you get into like, there's certain like advanced buildings which require multiple parts, like multiple blocks, to be arranged in a specific way, and then you hit them with the wand and it turns into something. So like, there's a big furnace where you basically make a like a 9x9 cube, a 3x3 cube with a hole in the top where you put lava, and then you hit it with the wand and it turns into a special giant furnace, basically.
Oh, cool. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, which is sort of cool.
Like crafting, but within the world.
Yeah. Which is sort of cool, but like, that's starting to get more complicated. And then like the peak of it is when you get to like infusion, which is this even more complicated crafting system where first of all, you have to build the infusion altar, which is one of those, place a bunch of blocks and then hit it with the wand and it turns into the altar.
Right.
But then, in order to actually infuse an object on the altar, you put the object on the pillar in the middle of the altar, and that's the target object. But then the actual crafting components that you're trying to infuse, you have to place on other altars around it. Well, not whole altars, like little pillars. You have to place pillars around it, and then place the objects on the pillars. And then if it needs magic power, you have to place jars of magic power around as well. And like the idea is that you have to make it as symmetrical as possible, depending on like how many ingredients there are. So it's like if it's only 4, that's easy because you just do it on the 4 cardinal directions.
Sure.
But then if there's like 5, it's like, what the fuck do you do? Just try and make it as pentagonal as possible, I guess. So and then you're arranging these ingredients on the pillars, and then if you want to make the whole process more stable, then you can put like other shit around, like candles and skulls, fancy magic stuff to make it more stable. Because then when you actually trigger the thing, it goes through the whole process of like, first of all, it sucks the magic out of the jars for however much of that it needs, and then it like sucks the power out of each of the objects off the pillars, and like while it's doing this, it's like zapping you with fucking lightning and poisoning you at random, and like it's just basically incredibly unstable is the idea. And then like it can randomly knock the things off the pillars, so you have to quickly run over there and put them back on before it starts exploding or whatever, or using more power than it should. So yeah, you go through this whole incredibly complicated process. And it like then you make an item, maybe. Or sometimes it will just fucking hit your goddamn diamond with lightning and make it explode. Which happened to me twice in a row when I was trying to infuse something with an enchantment that used a diamond. I was like, put this diamond here. Oh, it got blown up. Well, I better put another fucking diamond there. I'm using all my resources.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ridiculously complicated in some ways. So it's sort of. I mean, I think I'd probably still prefer 2 than 4.
It doesn't sound like it still doesn't sound like it's not the same thing, really.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, similar base concept, I guess, like your magic, but it's a very different thing. It's
just like I think I prefer the Buildcraft style piping and tubing and.
I was about, I was about to ask, because when you said stuff like piping, like, was that Thauncraft you were using before then? Did you just do that?
Because in 2, it was like, it had... If you sort of compare it to 4, it's like in 2, it was almost all based on the liquids. Like, you'd throw stuff into the crucible and then it would make a liquid. There was basically only one liquid in that.
Right.
So everything would just get converted into a certain amount of magical power, and then that was a liquid that you could suck into the tubes and pipe it to all your different magical machines or whatever.
Okay.
Whereas in this, it's like, it actually is kind of. I think, despite the fact that I just said it's like maybe too complicated for its own good, it could probably actually use some more content because especially for the alchemy side of things, I think I've unlocked all the main things. There might be some secret stuff. I think I've unlocked all the main alchemy things I can do, and there's like not very much use for all these tons of goddamn elements.
Right.
It's like I've got about 6 or 7 extra jars of earth because there's fucking nothing you actually craft with earth. I can make more clay if I want more clay out of earth. That's about it.
Can you make more earth out of earth?
No, because there's no.
You can't turn earth into dirt.
No, surprisingly, there's like because you'd think that would be sort of the point of alchemy to like not just break shit down, but also like rebuild it.
Yeah.
But there's a very limited number of recipes for rebuilding out of. And most of them are like duplication rather than.
It's just all just like you're supposed to use them for the infusion at that point, or
yeah, you're just using the jars of liquid for the infusion stuff. But even then, you're not using all that much compared to so. For example, one of the actually useful alchemy things is to improve like iron ore. So you take iron ore and you infuse it with metal and order, and then that makes it better, basically. So
order.
That's one of the elements. Because it's fire, water, air.
What about disorder?
Earth, order, and entropy.
Right.
Of course. So you infuse the iron with metal and order, and it makes it better iron. And then when you smelt it, you get twice as many ingots out of it. So to make metal, you're sacrificing a small amount of iron, basically, to make more. So you're using a little bit of iron, converting it into metal, and then sucking that back in, converting it. But in order to make order, it's like one of the few sources that you can easily get order from is glass, because glass is made of. I think its element is actually literally just glass. It's just made of the element of glass. And then so you take the element of glass and you refine that and it splits it into order and earth. So that was my main way of getting order for quite a large amount of time. But then I'm just getting tons of extra earth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's fuck all I can do with that.
Yeah, that sounds very. Can you not like in the spirit of Minecraft, turn earth into some sort of like building material for your house?
No, well, unless you just want jars of it.
Like, you could use it to colour dirt. It would be like something to say, I don't want like earth is green or something. So like I want some green walls. Smash some glass over it. Like not glass. I mean, like smash some glass of what?
What? It does just seem like you're just going to end up with piles of extra jars. Of not like I've got tons of extra earth, I've got tons of extra tree.
But if Zelda's taught us anything, like you just need jars.
Yeah, they make a cool noise when you hit them. They go doink doink doink, and then so when you're hitting the jars to pick them up or put them down, they make a cool glass doinking noise. Doink.
What? I mean, like a doink or like a tick? Sort of like.
No, it's a bit more bassy than that. Like a boing. Only with less echo. And then I've been building a base obviously and then doing all this infusion and shit and building an unnecessarily complicated village. There are some like kind of useful extra things that come with this mod where it's just like you can just build a levitating platform. So you can just build elevators, basically.
That's like
so you can just fly straight up, which is kind of useful.
Cool.
So you can have like a witching tower or something.
Yeah, that's basically what I did. Build a giant floating platform. And then I've also been working on with the aura nodes that you can charge your wand from. If you can do this whole ridiculously complicated process of basically building a giant jar around a node and then hitting it with a wand and it shrinks down and then you can pick it up.
Huh.
So you can bring the nodes to back to your base. But then if you put two nodes next to each other, the larger one eats the smaller one to become larger. So I've been working on...
So you can create like a mega node.
Yeah, so I've been working on trying to make a node that has all 6 of the base elements in a decent quantity so I can just use that as my wand recharging point. But unfortunately, of course, it's not a 100% successful process. So you have to feed it tons of small nodes to actually make it grow that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems there's a lot of interesting sort of Minecrafty ideas because, I guess the part of the problem with a Minecrafty idea is it is essentially a go nowhere thing almost. Because there's no point to Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean, it's theoretically because I was thinking it theoretically should make it easier to do the end boss or the dragon or whatever. You do need to have gone to the Nether to really do anything in this mod, so you still have to have got that far in.
What's that until you start discovering the things that help you, or are the nodes in the Nether? Or...
Well, you need Nether resources, Nether quartz, to actually make quite a lot of the
starting stuff.
Moderately starting stuff. I think the wands are cheaper than that, but some of the medium tier recipes start needing the quartz.
So. Does it fill a good niche as being a sort of end game preparation mod in a way?
Probably. I mean, as usual, the thing is I've never actually seen what the end is in any case, whether it be modded or not. It can't be that hard if you can do it in base Minecraft.
You should probably do that.
I know, I probably should at some point.
You technically have never been able to give a complete review of Minecraft.
Nope.
Because you haven't finished it.
Yeah.
It's Minecraft.
Oh, and the other sort of weird thing that happened in that mod is because you get the nodes to where you can charge your wand up, but occasionally you'll get basically an evil node that will just fucking eat you. And the thing about it is, it creates basically a black hole, which makes a giant crater in the landscape as it sucks in all the surrounding blocks, and if you walk up to it, it pulls you in and kills you. And that's all well and good, except for it takes some amount of time to start sucking up the blocks in the vicinity if it's in a freshly generated area.
Oh.
So I was out exploring the world, like doing my math, riding a horse, sped into a new area, and of course, because it had only just generated that bit of trade, it hadn't actually eaten any of the trade, and I just rode directly into the thing. It was like, just got instantly murdered and lost all my shit. It was like, oh well, that's probably bad.
Or something fighting the chunking system of the game? Or?
Well, it's just like you need to not travel as quickly, I guess. Or always be using the thing that lets you see the nodes easier. Because they're like practically invisible unless you're looking through the scanner or wearing the special goggles.
You'd made it a black hole earlier, or did they just always...
Well, it just spawns randomly sometimes. Occasionally you'll get
just have something that is a hole.
Yes, an evil black hole. Apparently you can make them if you like excessively drain a node. Sometimes it'll turn into one as well. And then I'm not sure what you do about that. Theoretically, you can break nodes if you punch them, but good luck being able to consistently punch a single square while you're being swung around by gravity.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's one of those not very far from my base, which is making a big old hole in the terrain. But at least I know where that one is, rather than riding directly into it. So fun times. That's that. I streamed it a bit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should go watch that.
Cool, that sounds like something to go do.
It's on HSZeg.
Yep, it sure is. For about 2 weeks until it gets deleted.
Keep that
so go and check it out now, listeners.
Yep.
And I guess we're reaching the end of this podcast.
Yeah,
I think so.
So
thanks for joining us for the Saladcast. Catch us next time for more rotating fork-based news.
Not too much more, though.
Probably not much more. It'd probably be the final installment.
I'm glad you added that, because I want to say this ending was feeling a little abrupt then. It's like, that's Minecraft. Bye!
No, you definitely need to do a video demonstrating it with a... Are you going to do it with an actual pot noodle, or with... You have to stream it.
Marketing.
Yeah, should I do it with like a... or what are the pot noodle like competitors? Is it like...
Well, it says pot noodle on the fork, I guess.
It does, yeah.
That might be covered up by your hand.
Okay,
you cover that up Blue Peter style. I mean, we just talked about it quite a bit, but still.
Well, if I get like an Asda Smart Price pot noodle and I'm eating it with a pot noodle fork, or...
Yeah. We'll balance out. Other pot noodles are available.
Yeah. Except they haven't provided us with spinning forks before.
Before.
Right.
They might do in the future.
So,
I'm sure there's a relatively... Is it like Super Noodles have their own variant of pot noodle or something?
I don't know if they do.
Or are Super Noodles the same guys as pot noodles?
They could well be.
We'll check back in next time to find out. But from all of us at the Saladcast, see you next time.
Wob, 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 wob.
Bye.
What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? That is faster.